The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Listen here, this is a fact of life. I be rapping like Nat Turner came back to life. Grab Donald Trump by the pussy, he ain't acting right. I never run from a conflict, I be glad to fight. It's a very cold world that we live in. Somebody please tell Elizabeth you're not an Indian. You just trying to con them people to get the benefit. Just another immigrant, stealing from the Indians. That's some punk ass shit and that's too lame. Now we finna step over to Andrew Yang. And you a sucker, you can never speak for black folks. Fake ass candidates, trying to get the black vote. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You know your boy be high off sativa. Kamala wasn't popping, so we said bye, Felicia. She ain't had a right policy. We ain't trying to meet her. Y'all can take Biden too. Bye. We don't need him. We don't need Roland Martin or that coon Al Sharpton. Didn't need Cory Booker from the start, man. I don't fuck with police and no snitch. You know I'm coming with the heat when I spit it. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. You coon ass niggas can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. If you ever go to court and this is your luck, try not to get fucked by Benjamin Crump. I know it's hard. You and know it go is hard. But who the fuck is Amy Cloak? Put her picture up on the bullseye and start throwing darts. People cut our organs out our bodies, that's a stolen heart. They can't save us from the flood like Noah's Ark. Black lives always matter, we finna go for ours. So then we savages, we don't need to pot the piss. Mike Bloomberg can suck dick with that stop and frisk, bitch. You ain't speaking for us, we don't know you. Bernie Sanders, they get your funky ass on too. The Democrats don't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Republicans can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. A bitch ass nigga can't speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car. Man made the train to carry the heavy load. Man made the electric light to kick us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the seven no man. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. And man makes them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world. But
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in them motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the bed. Man made the car.
Link on with the cheese and beef. Doing the mo hope from saying the least. When you put some money, that's how I bring it a week. I'm talking Monday afternoon, now we're busting it down. I ain't making this up, I ain't fucking around. I'm in the palace at the LA on my cell phone. Get the pussy, get the head, get the hell on. Come get the hell on with no right to bear. I'm still I do, but carefully, I'm who they tell on. Niggas watching, but we keep it going like the camera rolling and them people on us. You know it, middle finger out the beamer like pop. One hand on my dick, one hand on my clock. All gas do the dance, I'm playing on skirt. Got a mouth full of gold shirt off on pop. Stay around with my nigga with a does habit. My other nigga drinking lean got a pop billy. No, we ain't finna play no game down at our pier. Hey, get your head long rain like Paul Pierre. And drop a song, bitch, your head here all year. Hey, like a one thing clear, like a one thing straight. Can't straight in this bit, move shit up out the way. Put your hands in the air, bitch, show me what to say. You know it. Friend. Yeah. We use that term loosely to lose all that shit. Everybody ain't your friend. None of that shit. We use that term loosely to lose that shit. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend. Yeah.
Recently 60 and killing me. Jimmy Choo 1,000 on my bitch feet. Japanese diet, only thing I eat is kimchi. Get a foot long to your bitch, no blemish.
I'm the only bitch popping in the whole clique of y'all. Damn show couldn't stop and run straight to the money. That's the only way I'm rocking. And if you ain't got that, then they might get the popping. I ain't fucking with the crowd. I'm a different kind of bitch. Go to quarter point fingers, you a different kind of bitch. Think I wanna buy a yacht, be a different kind of rich, but I'm still from the hood. I settle for a brief.
And if I call you a friend, I die for you. It's even if we don't communicate a Facebook. But I was raised in the trench by a straight crook. One lady see me on the street, grab the pocketbook. I'm sharp as a pocket knife on IG. This address on my ID to tell you I'm a bank here. You know that try me. I put you over my knee and spank your ass like my niece. I'm kicking shit, Tai Chi until it's over. Compete.
Call him Jimmy Dunn, cause some shooters gonna deliver. Make him catch after hours outside the way he live.
Don't get Tokyo, man. We gotta keep pimping, man. I'm walking with the whole 5 grand for the minute.
Friend. Yeah. We use that term loosely to lose all that shit. Everybody ain't your friend. None of that shit. We use that term loosely to lose that shit. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your friend. Yeah. And you already know what the Lord's like. Anytime to get around their homeboys and lie. And then they owe you time to pay the bill. Go up and forgot. Then when my nigga Trey called him in the parking lot.
I keep it rocking, so I balled it like a poet. Open up the safe, I got it looking like a toy. Hustle like a motherfucker, poking niggas Georgia. Like came from being nothing now. Not my thought, no, they gave me renovation. Looking at penetration. Money, my demonstration forward to my destination. Let me in mind, I'ma send it with no hesitation. Pull up on your block, light it up like it's a celebration.
Yeah. We use that term loosely to lose all that shit. Everybody ain't your friend. None of that shit. We use that term loosely to lose that shit. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend. Yeah. Everybody ain't your friend.
It's like, what is my shit never not low? All right. Welcome to Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Obviously, in conjunction with the Revolutionary Agenda. You're seeing me, and I opened it up like that because it's usually the Revolutionary Agenda thing. So welcome. I sent a message to Shabaka. I don't know where he is. So we're just gonna run it like I would run it if Blog Talk was having a situation. I was the only one there. So I would run it the same way. I don't know where he is. I don't know what's happening. So I sent the message out to the universe. So hopefully he'll check his messages and pop on here shortly. So welcome to Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, in conjunction with the Revolutionary Agenda. A little bit, I guess you wonder where Shade Crew is. Well, it is Kwanzaa, so happy Kwanzaa out there, Black family. And today is the first day of Kwanzaa, which is Umoja, which is unity. He went to our sister Bianca's house. I would have been over there, but heart condition, sick, and we weren't. I didn't get them. I didn't. We communicating wasn't, the way I don't know. We just weren't communicating right. Everything's good now, but I can't go there because I'm really sick. So it's kind of hard. Kind of hard. Plus, it's snowing. My heart might just the temperature is gonna drop my heart, so it's not gonna happen. Thank you, Deacon. I see you, twin Deacon in here. Just only two up in here. Yeah, I see you, fellas. I see you. Thank you. As soon as Shabaka get in here, that'd be a rip. But I'm gonna run it like he is in here. And then I'll send him a message. Let's see, where else was I gonna leave it? So in about an hour or so, an hour and a half, we're gonna tap in over there with them at the Kwanzaa celebration. He's up there with the family. I couldn't go, but doesn't mean that he couldn't go and what's up, cuz? Also too. It doesn't mean he couldn't go and spend time with the family. Just that, it's a very sad situation when your mate is really sick and you feel like can't go somewhere. So yeah, I was just like, man, fuck it, just go on, go ahead. You hear me? It's all good. And plus, Kwanzaa is very important. Kwanzaa is important to us, just like our Tutsi Day, which is on the 24th. So we're no longer celebrating. Well, I am no longer celebrating pagan holidays. He's been on that shit, but I am no longer celebrating that. And I want to thank my cousin right here because he hit me to something and it caught me on thanks to Jay Militant. Jay Militant had a show just recently talking about Christmas and shit. Fuck Christmas. Why don't we celebrate Christmas? And he hit me to something, and I went on a deep dive of absolute black knowledge and went over to Brother Steady page and learned more shit than I think I ever cared or even thought that was possible about fucking Christmas, the whys and whats and why not and no, all this extra shit. And I would like to get into that, but I don't know what the policy is that if I stream any of his shit, so I'm not really trying to get yelled at because he go hard. So, but General said, yeah, I went over there. That's black empowerment all day, every day. So I went over there and was been heavily in depth in my studies. I like to call it my studies because check it out, family. I'm self-taught. I didn't have the options and the opportunities to go to regular school. When I wanted to go to school, I wasn't able to stay in school for longer than 2 weeks at a time. It's just hard when you're in the system. You're a little girl, and sometimes they just don't want you to go to school. They'd rather you stay fucking oppressed. Oh, what am I drinking? In case you want to know. Drinking the Old Ale. Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite. Anyway, by that and Still Reserve, or 211s in the blue can. So, well, happy Kwanzaa. I hope y'all had a pretty decent, eventful Black holiday. If you celebrate your holidays with family that still celebrates Christmas, I hope you had a decent holiday. That's all that matters. It's okay. It's okay, baby. Thank you. No worries. I'm coming out of it. Yeah, I sent you a little link, cuz I sent you a little link to the General City. Surratt City, man, y'all don't know, y'all need to get over there because he's been educated for a gazillion years. I just finally tapped in, and I'm really I'm really cheap, so really cheap. So I actually gotta join the page, and so like Jesse, y'all don't know, Jesse's been doing these leadership courses when he was running for mayor. And he these are like investments itself, blah blah blah. He wanted to learn be a better leader. And I have my own opinions about this particular course. And that's just my opinion, right? However, it was quite costly. And I was like, well, I do want to. See, because you're already on it. Yep. So you already know that's. I just now decided that was gonna be my black power. That was gonna be my education. I decided to sign up for the university. Where you at? Where you at? Yeah. Yep. I decided to sign up for the university because it was $1 million cheaper than what the fuck my baby was doing for the last 2 years, 3 years. So that shit is quite costly. But he talked black. He talked black to me. Cause Jay Militant does said he not talk black to you? Say he talks black to me. He talks black to me. Which, don't judge me, fellas. Too much big words is like word salad to me. And if I gotta keep looking up, yep, I gotta keep looking up. And I joined the Patreon too because I decided that each one, you know what I mean. If I gotta keep looking up big ass motherfucking words, you're distracting me from my fucking education. So shout out to say speak like I do in real life. You know what I mean? Like in real life, he talked just like I do. He talked just like I do with my sister. He talked like I do when I'm just in my normal self. So so I was like, he talked black to me. That's all I need to know. That, and it's easier for me to understand and take in the words. Sustenance, you know what I mean? Educational sustenance. Like this whole conformity shit is not. It's for the birds, really. You know what I mean? Um, we've discussed that several times in different areas. Mostly, in just shouting out Jay Militant because he's been going pretty heavy lately with lives. But if you're not over there, come over to Jay. Uh, when you got a person like me where they keep constantly saying that it's ignorant, okay, it really isn't ignorant. You just got to find the right way to talk to a person. So if you like one day I put a post up. I was like, man, can I get everything in freestyle rap? My education in freestyle, in freestyle rap. Like when it comes to politics, everybody want to laugh. That's not funny. It's not funny. It was easy to digest. Mm. I'll let the shade deflect the message. I know how it's gonna affect me. You know what I mean? So, but then when because I've been listening to SETI off and on to let just tell you the truth. He's like he just turned me on to it. Just shh. Anybody who's in the know of black knowledge knows knows. You know what I mean? Everybody talks to Black Panthers on the low, in the back, in the quiet, to learn some revolutionary shit. They already know. You know what I mean? So I was already okay. Yeah. So they already know, and I reach out to other fellas that are in the movement, and I talk to them behind the scenes. I don't talk to them too much on live camera, because a lot of things are meant for everybody's ears. They're just meant for people who really want to stand up to the plate and produce revolutionary change. And so I signed up to the channel, but I had been listening from behind the scenes. I was kind of like I had a feeling some kind of way, and it's a colorism type shit, So I was like, man, maybe I'm not. But then I said, fuck that shit, man. I'm a revolutionary in this new form, and I'm gonna do what's right. I'm gonna get the best education possible. And there was a lot of knowledge on the university. There was a lot of knowledge. Yeah, that's true too. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. My son's name gonna be Amira. Working on it. More you manifest, the more is possible, right? I don't think Jesse just take too kindly in me violating his innocence 24/7, but I'm working on it. Yeah, we we believe in making beautiful black babies, beautiful revolutionary babies, especially when you got two individuals like me and Jesse that fight racism, white supremacy all day long. We don't give a fuck who it hurts. You know, we don't care. And it's gotten let's say it's gotten us in trouble on other platforms, you know, dealing with our folk, you know, because like for example, just shout out J Relative. We come in when look, black people need to stick together. Okay. And we've been saying this for decades. Black people need to stick together. Some black people don't want to stick with the revolutionary types. Okay, that ain't on us. That's on them. That's a personal thing. It ain't on us, and it ain't us to keep trying to bring you motherfuckers to the water of liberation. Okay, and black empowerment. You know, if you need a pat on the head from master to empower you, there's something wrong with that. You know, so we're not with it. We're not with it at all. But I shout him out because, you know, some whites were saying that he need to tone down his blackness. And we were like, no. I think if anybody was loud as that motherfucker, it was probably me saying, fuck no. We're going to let you do that because we need more black revolutionaries. We need the men to, you know, to do men things and stand on 10 toes in, you know, stand on their shit. And we need that. You know, at the end of the day, family, we've seen it many times before, just even recently, where white women, you know, get black men, you know, to fall off. We've seen that many times. We've seen white men hurt black women in relationships. We see it all the time. We see blacks telling sisters they need to divest and go with white men, or just weird ass shit, you know what I mean? And we've seen it several times on different platforms. I myself have seen it in the motherfuckers calling me a racist. How black I can't. How I'm black I can't. Exactly. You're not a racist. Just and not even really prejudiced. If you got tons of Caucasian friends, like you pointed out that one day. When I was like I'm a dip because I don't have it. Somebody asked me a question if I believe it's separatism. Are separating, and goddamn right, black people do way better when they're by themselves. They do way better. They can build more. You know, they don't need white anything really. If the whites could just leave a motherfucker alone and let them carry on, it would be a fucking more positive situation. However, it's not like that. We got white people making black people decisions. It's fucking crazy. And so when I was over there, I heard some shit I didn't like. And I was like, you can't tell a black man to tone down anything about his essence. He don't have to. He's not gonna. We wouldn't let him. Even if he wanted to, we weren't gonna let him. Why? Because he's black and he's a man in America. Triple K. Shout out to Jesse Barris. You know what I mean? And it's not right. And sisters need to stand behind the brothers when they're trying to stand up for black empowerment, black liberation, black fucking education, black baby making, fucking all that good shit. Yeah. So just say, hold on a second. Okay, them. The warning, I told them all where I come from. Yep. You know, and I'm from California, so you know, to see that, to see some white person tell him, well, you know, you got toned down with your black shit, whatever, however it was worded. That's how I heard it. You know what I mean? And I read it, and I was like, nah, fuck no. It's only gonna get worse. And then when I'm over there, you know, it's a little attackish because I'm baby black all day long. Don't let the shade deflect your message. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just gonna go over here to my platform and just be biggity black. Say something else. You know what I mean? That's right. Say something else. You know what I mean? Because you'll get over here, you get chewed out. We don't give no fucks. Why should we care? We don't. You know what I mean? We intend to hurt your feelings because, you know, you got in the way with hurting and stepping on black folk and making black folks sit in the corner. You know, and those days is over. The benign neglect is over. That kind of shit is over. It's a new day. It's a brand new motherfucking day. Let's check on Shabaka real quick. Like, I don't know where he is. Like, where is he? he didn't even see my message yet. I said, I sent him the StreamYard once again. So yeah, it's Kwanzaa and Habarigani, and it's day one, and it's Moja, which is unity. So we're gonna tap into that a little bit later on in our dialogue. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the show started since this is since seeing the host of the Revolutionary Agenda, I will talk forever for at least a good hour. At least a good hour. But tonight's show is definitely Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. So just so we don't forget, this is his shit. I hope the only reason we decided to do StreamYard too is because as we heard yesterday, Blog Talk was still fussing with us and we weren't having it. We wanted to make sure that Shabaka was able to go ahead and get his messages out and be able to have a discussion. It was going to be an open mic anyway. So we're gonna try to keep it to what we should talk about in politics right now, which is migrant situation, and we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna try to breeze through a lot of shit. We're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna go from the migrants to what's going on in LA. It was basically what's up in LA. We're gonna talk about this caravan coming. We're gonna talk a little bit about the former LA sheriff, how he explains how corruption really go. We're gonna head to Colorado for a quick second. There's one thing about Colorado I really want to highlight. We're gonna talk about the sanctuary city shit, and then we're gonna head into some Tim Black, and we might return back to Colorado just to talk about the Elijah McClain thing. I would have picked some more news, but for some reason, my notifications ain't coming in, and this has been a recurring factor with most of our black new black media. So we've had to go back and hit that bell again, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this has been a recurring thing. You're not feeling it. So just keep, if you have this problem, you're not getting notifications, go back and resub and hit your bells. I ain't go front. I'm getting tired of it. Okay, I ain't go front. I'm getting tired of it. So we're gonna start off the show right now as we wait. Hopefully, Shabaka will come in. Jay Militant is probably gonna pop up here shortly, and I can hear you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this first little video. And yeah, we're gonna get started. Here we go. And I'm glad y'all tuned in. No, you expected to see Jesse up here, but Jesse out having fun with his family. It's Kwanzaa, and yeah, so having fun. He decided not to go to no coon-ass Jeff Farr's fucking shit, and I decided I have that up there too. We could browse through it. They have usually every year, Kwanzaa celebrated. Starts the first candles lit at the cultural center. However, me and Jesse been really going hard at these fools. They banned us, which for Free Think Zone, you shouldn't be cutting motherfuckers off for their free thoughts. Just because we just a little bit too much. I like to say we're too black for them sometimes. And plus, I've been cussing out the mammy, so I ain't got no love for this weird ass broad. So, really, what she doing is real goofy, and I don't like people that just. I don't like photo op situations, and people that just try to benefit and make themselves known off of somebody else's tragedies. So that's a real thing. I really don't like that shit. And I've said it many times before. So let's get this shit started. We're starting off in California. Here we go.
Numbers. Can you tell us what's going on?
So we've had over 45,000 people being dropped off in the last couple of months. It's an unmanageable. Blame on the migrants. It's our system that's broke. It's our border. It's our system that we need to fix.
My guest today is Jim Desmond, San Diego County Supervisor. Today, he'll talk about how the recent surge of migrants in San Diego is causing a big problem for the county and how he's worried that it could contribute to more homelessness.
They may become part of our homeless population. The past few months, the numbers have been building and we've been getting more. We're not as bad off as San Francisco or LA, but if we keep going down this path, we're going to have the same problems and same consequences.
I'm Siama Korami. Welcome to California Insider. So Jim, it's great to have you on back. Welcome back.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You know, there's a situation going on in San Diego now, and you've been very vocal about it. We are hearing that there's migrants coming into San Diego and in large numbers. Can you tell us what's going on?
Well, it's been going on for a couple of months. They started on September 13th. We started having hundreds of migrants being dropped off at transportation centers throughout San Diego County. There's 3 of them. They were dropping these migrants off. And that started in September, and it's gone from about 300 or 400 a day to now almost 800 and 900 per day being dropped off in San Diego County. So we've had over 45,000 people being dropped off in the last couple of months, just being dropped off by Border Patrol agents, the federal government just dropping off people in San Diego County, primarily because they are overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with the number of people coming across the border seeking asylum. And they did have a process for getting these people, the asylum seekers through and getting them on their way to other parts of the country where their sponsors or other people might be that these asylum seekers are going to live with. But what's happening is the federal government, Border Patrol, no longer has time to process or get these people onto their final destinations. And so what they're doing is dropping them off now in San Diego County. And they're overwhelming our nonprofits and our charities, and those are helping them out to get them on their way to other sites within the country. And it's putting a cost on local tax dollars. We are spending in San Diego County, my colleagues have approved now twice, $2-3 million aid packages that we're spending on migrant issues for immigration, which should be a federal government issue. And the county, local tax dollars are going towards that effort right now. And that's what's really got me upset is the fact that federal government, they went after Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott for shipping people or dropping people in other places. The federal government's doing that exact same thing for us here in San Diego County. And so our tax dollars, which has me upset, instead of going towards behavioral health or homelessness or infrastructure and roads, is having.
Honest, man, first of all, nobody invited these motherfuckers to come over. Now you basically pass the immigrant around. Like, what did you expect? What did you expect to happen? Like, you should close that shit off. You should not only close that shit off, but you need to send a motherfucking memo to all the other fucking countries that got just letting them pass through. That shit is ridiculous. Like, there's gotta be some networking going on. You can't just be doing that shit and then like once they get here, then what? Like, now we're all stuck with it. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. But I'm just like, God damn, man, like stop playing past the fucking immigrant around. I see. She said, they wanted to get away from a bad living situation. Yeah, but what they did not understand is more they come, the worse it's going to get to stay where you're at. Yeah. Yep. Close the border, build the wall. Yep. And not only that, but I mean, come on now. You got to do some networking within these other countries.
Having to go towards these migrant issues.
But my thing
immigration.
Say in one country that's peaceful and then try to fucking, develop a life there. Why are you just gonna come directly over here and force us to take care of you? And don't you know who you fucking with? It's the fucking United States.
Issues which should be picked up by the federal government. And because of that, now we have many, many people coming into San Diego County. We have a couple hundred of people a night sleeping in the airport. And to me, it's an unmanageable system. There's no end in sight. And it's really having a negative impact on us in San Diego County.
So Jim, when you mentioned they were dropping off 300 people, now there's 800 a day. What happens to these people? So can you explain to us, do they come with a bus and they just get?
Yes, initially they were coming in by buses and being dropped at 3 different transportation centers. And luckily, a lot of our nonprofits and churches and organizations we're meeting them at these sites, but they were and helping get the migrants on their way. Be honest with you about
I was told like why I be listening to white media, right? And I was like really it's for us black folk. We don't want to you know in the art of war you need to know what which enemy is thinking. That's our top two. You know, I'm a well-rounded individual. I kind of like to point out shit and I like to see what they're fucking on and how they perceive situations with us. And this is one of those things that nobody asks black people how they feel and what they want. You know what I mean? So I put it out there because I don't create content. So I'm a message booster for the new black media, like thousands of others. And we are definitely black first. So when we're seeing things happen, we're seeing crimes being committed. We're not seeing crimes committed by our black Latin diaspora brothers and sisters. We're seeing crimes committed by motherfuckers in this shade of skin coming from those countries. And so we need to stay focused and vigilant. However, there's so many distractions going on that we have to take it piece by piece so that we can stay in tune and in the loop. Now we got our brothers and sisters, our FBA brothers and sisters that are definitely more in line with the new black media, definitely pressing different different messages. And they're fighting for their sanctuary cities, you know, to change. We are too. There's only, I would say, our black population isn't really black. It's more so versus coon, and they on a Democratic plantation and not coming back. And so, you know, they're not really trying to hear anything we're saying. It feels like you got two, maybe four. Seriously, well, let me just take that back. I got to shout out to Sister Vicky Dillard. So that's another serious person that brings black education, and especially for foundational black Americans to us. However, we're down here in the city, and I don't really see too many people stepping up to the plate. Everybody's on this other shit, this coon shit, and we're not with it. So when we're trying to talk, they want to shut us down. And so when people ask, well, what's going on in Colorado? This is it. This is one of your platforms that can be accessed because we're going to tell the truth, and we're going to tell it for FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and freedmen, etc. We're on a black first agenda, you know, strictly on that. So these little media people that I'm accessing, right? They don't mean shit to me, but I just want to know what they're thinking and how they're looking at shit, and that way I can share it with our FBA brothers and sisters, so they stay in the loop, so they stay in the know, you know, so that they can make an informed decision on what's best for them and theirs. You know what I mean? Because we ain't really prepared for if the lights go out, family. We can talk all this shit we want to, but I'm one of the most fucking I say hot boy statements all the time. But if I had a serious think about it, I watched this fucking 15-minute podcast, and I realized we're not ready for if they shut off the lights. You know what I mean? Or that our lives are in these little motherfucking soft, pudgy, never worked a day in their life white hands. You know what I mean? So I feel like we need to stay informed on all levels. 9 areas of human activity. We got to stay informed. So yeah, it's not because you know, like one day I was listening to what was it what was his name? I can't remember his name right now, but I was listening to him. I posted it, and it was like, well, he's a white supremacist. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. And my thoughts is like, better to know what the motherfucking enemy is thinking outright, because they're not really as bolden. But I've been learning as this week has passed, there are a lot of motherfucking white supremacists out there just spitting like garbage, and we're not even knowing because we're not paying attention to what everybody all over is saying. We're just looking at what our black people are saying because we just want to keep our ears tuned to black, which is not even a problem. It's not, that's even better, but we need to be well aware of what's going on around us too.
about 90% of them are only in San Diego County for about 48 hours. Most of them have sponsors or somebody they know throughout the country. And the first question they ask when they're dropped off at these, they don't know where San Diego is, and they're just being dropped off. So first question, where am I? How can I charge my cell phone? And how do I get to the airport or get to my cousin in Denver or wherever it is that they want to go to? So basically, San Diego County, we're acting as a travel agency for these migrants that are just being dropped off. But now what's happening is we have asked Border Patrol to just drop them off at one location within San Diego County instead of 3. And all of our nonprofits and charities and people like that are helping them are in one site. And we don't really know what time of day they're going to be coming. The Border Patrol only tells us a few hours ahead of time. So they're all in one location right now. But those folks are the same people that we contract with that are helping with the migrants. We contract with those people to help us with our homeless situation. And so they're asking for more money.
I felt like never the two should have intertwined, you know what I mean? Because now they could slip off and just act like they're doing something for everybody. And in reality, they're not. And we showed that, I think we showed it on Frontline Black News. You where, Jesse? Where are you? Where are you? Hold on a second. Where? Okay. Hold on, Felly. I don't know where Jesse is. Hold on. See, distractions. Okay, so I think it's cap. I think that they just never the two should intertwine because they try to negate what's going on with our unhoused. Look, there was plenty of unhoused, especially in California, thousands of unhoused people, especially like 14th, Colorado Boulevard, Monaco. Okay. Doing what? Okay. You made it sound like you was right outside. All right. I don't know. So you going where? You're going over to Sister Bianca's house, yeah? What you talking about? Distracted me. All right. So there was thousands of homeless in okay, good. Well, tap in when you get there. Just stabilize because you can't get online right now. Thanks for tapping in. Tell everybody we said hi. Mary Umoja. Mary Umoja. And we see everybody. We love them, and we'll be hearing you shortly as soon as you guys get settled in and whatnot. And keep sending some crescent rolls back for your girl. Okay? All right, check it out. Never the two should intertwine. Now, I'm gonna pull up something here shortly. Okay? Now I'll pull up something here shortly. Everybody say hello to you, Jesse and family. Tabiaga, I'm gonna hit her up a little bit later so I can talk to her auntie about making me a couple of dresses. Yeah. Well, obviously it's snowing really bad, like ice snow. Okay, so Jesse. All right. We'll see you in a little bit, Jesse, we'll see you in a little bit. As soon as you guys get settled in. I've already prepared the people that will be tapping in over there. So as soon as you guys get settled in and everything, kiss the babies, tell everybody I said hi, and I love them. And yeah, we'll be waiting on you. We'll be waiting on you. I'm just waiting on we'll be waiting on you. So all right, so never the two should intertwine, family, because now they could go ahead and say, oh well, they can kind of mix the homeless and forget about the homeless and just focus on the migrants, because migrants came over here and brought their children over here. Now look, it's gonna sound like an asshole thing. I don't really give a fuck. Like, you weren't supposed to come over here. You should stay over where you were. There's never been somebody that say, hey, come on in, it's open. Nah, y'all chose to come over here. And you choose to come over here and you bring your children over here. And we done seen some shit where they dragging their kid through the fence. Man, come on now. And you passed 4 countries on the way. You went out for 4 motherfucking months. Past 4 countries. Major walking. What in the fuck are you doing? And we're supposed to give a fuck. But what did you do when you was living in your own country? You mean to tell me you didn't have no job, you ain't got no hustle, and you come here and you expect everybody to just hand over foot, and just because they do that for y'all, you've been neglecting black people everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. We'll even throw in other people too. You know, there's other races that live here. Yeah, but they've been neglecting black people for real. Okay? And let me just put it this way. Instead of Colorado, if you're black with a family and black with children, you're homeless, you ain't homeless and black with children anymore. They managed to separate your children from you. But yet everybody gets to keep their children. They're not really worried about separating them. But we have to worry, American citizens have to worry about going for help in any other fucking situation because they're going to take our babies. Because we outside. And what kind of shit is that? You know what I mean? We're outside. They managed to close down all kind of motherfucking schools and keep black children from not learning properly, but go ahead and let all these other children in here to come in to learn. They sweat black people to get them immunized, but they don't really care that these ones come in unimmunized. Immunized. I guess I can't say that word properly. You know what I mean? And they put them in our school. They automatically go ahead and put them in our schools, right? They don't ask. There's no survey floating around asking black people how they feel about that their children now got to integrate with anything other than black. Okay, and yeah, it's gonna sound kind of. I guess it sounds like, you know, when you're here, they're like, well, goddamn. Well, no, it's not goddamn. It's the children have already been neglected. They've been getting neglected for generations. Nobody calls parents up and sit down and try to talk to black parents, try to get them to understand some shit. You only get a phone call when your kid is fucking up, not when your kid is doing great. You know what I mean? You only hear fucking other shit while your child was just. We never hear any other shit. You got children that don't even speak English coming up here. You know what I mean? And they come up here, they already got chickenpox. When was the last time you heard about chickenpox? Right? Chickenpox, measles. We had an outbreak of measles. Like, when the fuck do you hear about measles? Right? Okay, fine. So let's say your child, black child, is over there with and gets chickenpox, even after they got all the vaccinations. We got to take care of that. Don't take your kid to the hospital, because what happens? They all up in your fucking mix, right? But they ain't all up in their mix, and this shit is depleting our actual healthcare system. We have one hospital. Maybe no, let me take that back. Let me stop lying. We got a few hospitals that are pretty much dedicated to taking care of the poor. Okay. But they're really taking care of the poor and the immigrants, and they're running out of resources. But you see anything happening? Nah, the money's coming directly for taking care of the immigrant process. And who's coming in here? We got like 19 buses coming today. They would never let black people just go ahead and raid the fucking United States like that. Look what they did to Haiti. So just off that. So the next little portion, when I show you guys, and they say, oh, they're letting nations, you just got to understand. I think that's cap too. It's only when I showed this one video, there was only 2 Haitians there, and that man almost lost his mind. He was from Fox News. So, make me believe. Shit.
So they can have more personnel. They're asking for money from us out of our local coffers so they can aid and assist the migrants. In San Diego County, my board that I serve on, I've been against this primarily because, yes, they do need this service. Yes, the migrants need to be moved on and help, get to their final destinations. But we, the local community, should not be paying those tax dollars. So they're getting dropped off. They're getting the help, from local agencies that we, the county, are funding to help get most of the migrants on their way to wherever it is they're going in the country.
And now, what percentage of them, do you guys have any thoughts on like what number has friends and family in other areas, and what number just wants to stay in San Diego? Is there?
I can't give you an exact number, but I could tell you probably well over 90% of them are gone within in 48 hours. But there's someplace else in the country that it is what's happening. I can't give you an exact number, but I can tell you that some of them are staying overnight in the homeless shelters, and some of them just are staying at, like I said, at the airport. Even if you get to the country today, you're not always going to get a flight out right away to wherever it is you're trying to go, which is why they're ending up sleeping at the airport. So our nonprofits and our charities, once they get dropped off and they wanted to say go catch a flight to someplace else, they'll take them to the airport, but then they're stuck at the airport and maybe they can't get a flight out for a day or so, and they're staying there. And then some of them are also going to some.
You gotta think about how they do the homeless. They do the homeless so dirty. Like, you can't be homeless and at the motherfucking at the airport just chilling. What the fuck is wrong with this shit? This is stupid. They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't even let homeless be in the bus terminals, let alone fucking chilling all night on the bus or at the airport. This shit they take people to jail for. Like, they kick them out and they put them somewhere else. It's like, get on, you can't be over here. This is not for that. This is no. So they just let them be at the airport. Yeah, right. With no passport, no ID, no nothing. Like, what are you? What? Our American homeless people can't kick it at the airport. But you're gonna let them kick it at the airport? That don't even make no damn sense. That's like, it's just, come on, dude. And what kind of shit is that? Uh-oh. Okay, here we go.
More homeless shelters are taking up space there. And they've actually, the Border Patrol has created this camp, sort of a waiting room or waiting area in the Jacumba area, which is just in the southern side of San Diego, near to the border, where it's just kind of a holding area until they can bring them into the processing center that they're being dropped off within San Diego County. There's no facilities out there. There's no food. There's no shelter. They're just having to sleep outside at night. It's really chaos and a mess. And unfortunately, residents that I represent in San Diego County are footing the bill for this.
So you mentioned some of the homeless shelters are serving these people. And do you think there's going to be a point where the San Diegans people in your county will actually feel the impact of this? Or do you think that people still don't see it?
Right there. I'm real curious. Like I said, I was over there looking for more news and shit to provide for everybody. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said, Dean. That's right. Throw my hands up, just walk away. This is stupid. Right? Like, here's my thoughts on this subject again. Like, homeless shelters. So you'll put them in the homeless shelter, right? So it kicks out our actual homeless that have been here trying to get housed for God knows how long, right? Just gotta go through hoops and loops and get threatened on them daily to get arrested and I don't know what else, right? But you got them all. I mean, look, our city alone hasn't made so much motherfucking moves in like over 10 years. It's ridiculous. It's just all fucking hypocritical. It's ridiculous to me. And I don't like it. I don't like it because they weren't trying to jump up and build shelters and open up motherfucking hotels for the homeless that have been over here asking for this shit for fucking and demanding it for at least 10 years. So I find that to be really shitty that all these moves happen because of this. So it's obviously an agenda. But the other thing is this, like, you gonna stick all these unhoused people? I'm real curious to know what happened. We're snowing right now. It's snowing right now in Denver, right? And I ain't seen not one news article or anything that says how to on YouTube. That's what I was looking at really before I started. It says anything about the unhoused, our normal unhoused, and the immigrants, how they handling the snow. Because you know they from warm weather areas. So how are they really dealing with the snow? You know, I didn't get to see one. And I'm like, is this like intentional? Because I was just trying to look at the news right now a little bit ago and I didn't see nothing yet. Like, what is this? Intentional just slowing off and on all day. Let's see. Yeah.
Not obvious enough that.
Luckily, we have not, thank God, we haven't seen an uptick in crime. We haven't, but we have seen more people using our homeless shelters as a consequence of this. There is a population of migrants that don't have a sponsor or can't get a hold of their sponsor or don't really, once they're questioned at the Border Patrol agents will ask them, do you have a sponsor? Do you have a place to go when they're seeking asylum? So some of them don't. Some of them stay in San Diego County. I can't tell you the exact number.
And have you talked to some of these Border Patrol agents? What are their thoughts on the situation?
They're overwhelmed, and we have a couple Border Patrol agents we're in contact with, and they'll tell us what's happening, and they are just overwhelmed.
So
they don't have the time.
So if you say you got somebody over here in another state like Colorado, they just go ahead and let you come on over? Hell no. Nah.
A lot of these people, and if they do background check,
there was one time I traveled from here's someone down south. I was homeless. I didn't even have nobody. I just wanted to go. I just wanted to leave. I had my own reasons for why I was trying to leave, right? So I was over there fucking around. I had this like one phone, bring the phone and just say, yeah, they were there. They were going to expect me. Woo. Right? And I got a free bus ticket out. And on the Greyhound I went. Okay? like what the fuck? Like that's just how we're gonna do it. I'm an American citizen though. I'm from the soil. Born and raised in the motherfucking United States of America. Like, what are you talking about? This is not fleeing from me. This is me talking about, man, shit, let me go test the water somewhere else. You know what I mean? I'm unhappy. But I'm in my own state of the United States, free to maneuver whichever state I fucking want to. I'm born in the fucking United States. You know what I mean? No, ain't nobody brought me here. I ain't no anchor baby, no teller. She talked about. So they doing it like that too? How is this okay?
On migrants, it's only a U.S. background check.
Look how many
if these people are from Pakistan or they're from China or they're from Venezuela or other places, we don't check their backgrounds on where they came from. We only see if they've already been maybe charged of a crime in the U.S. So unfortunately, it's an untenable situation, and right now there is no end in sight.
San Diego is not a sanctuary city.
The state of California is a sanctuary state, so ergo we have not ourselves declared us as a sanctuary county. I don't know if the actual city of San Diego may have. I'm not aware of that. As far as a county, we have not declared ourselves sanctuary, but the state by default has declared us so. And
so is there a difference
the overall status
between the illegals and the people that are like coming like this, like and so these guys are applying for asylum, but the illegals came illegally without applying? Is that?
Well, all the 45,000 number that I gave you, all that we're seeing are the ones that basically have gone up to or have been, captured by Border Patrol agents that are being processed. The ones that come over the fence or come through illegally and bypass Border Patrol, we have no idea how many and what those numbers are.
See?
But there was a CNN report, Anderson Cooper, of all people, put this out, and it was I got interviewed by the CNN folks, and what they did is they interviewed people who actually live right up against the border and have property against the border. And in their segment, it showed, here's the hole in the fence. Here's where they come through every night. And while they were doing the show, some people were coming through. And here's where they come through, and they come through my property and every night. And what's happening is as people come across the border, they are actually seeking out Border Patrol agents so they can can get this asylum status, is what this report on CNN showed, is they're actually going to and turning themselves into Border Patrol agents. So what's happening right now is our Border Patrol agents are not stopping people at the border. They're only processing people once they're here through the system to come to the U.S. So they're processing them, they're dropping them off at a central location in San Diego County, and then hopefully they're going on their way. So what's happening in that report in properties in San Diego County, people are just coming across and turning themselves into Border Patrol because they know the system
is going to actually process them.
We're going to process them, and if you're seeking asylum, and it used to be an asylum seeker, you had to be, escaping persecution or some type of bad thing happening in the country. That
like political persecution or like religious persecution or some sort of persecution.
But right now, it's just economic. If you're claiming I'm just here to provide for my family, and which I don't blame them. I would do the same thing if I were a migrant. It's our system that's broke. It's our border. It's our system that we need to fix in order to do this in a humane fashion. Instead of having thousands of people coming across our border and then coming in without proper vetting, we do want migrants to be able to come to this country. We do want to help people that are asylum seekers, but our border patrols, our immigration system is just so flawed that we're being overwhelmed. And with terrorism, with fentanyl, with human trafficking, all these other things coming across the border, it's just exacerbating the problem. And I think we really, as a country, got to figure out if we're going to be a country and we're going to have borders, and then how to manage them, because there's no management. It's chaos at the border right now.
This episode is sponsored by Midas Gold Group. Do you feel the bills are getting higher and higher every time you check out the grocery store? Do you feel your monthly discretionary money has decreased?
Do I ever?
Although your income increases yearly? Inflation is eating away at your wealth. Digital wallets and central banks' digital currencies are destroying financial privatization. Only gold and silver are constitutional forms of money. Our privacy was to be protected against unlawful watch and seizure.
I was going to show you.
Midas Gold Group
they're
will help you take control of your finances and protect your wealth and your privacy. Pulling money out of the questionable banking and investment system is the way to privatize your finances as the elite push us towards digital wallets and central bank digital currency. Protect your wealth with real money. Deal with the best at Midas Gold Group, a proud America First company. You can check them out at midasgoldgroup.com. Click on the link below and check them out. Now let's go back to the interview.
Yeah, I'm already bullish on that guy, so
You've been talking to the Border Patrol and the people that they have a bigger perspective on where it's headed. Is this going to slow down anytime soon?
Not that I'm aware of that it's going to slow down anytime soon. Until the federal government does something about our immigration system, I just see this getting worse. And as a country, it's not just San Diego County and the border community. You hear a lot from Texas. And San Diego and other places, but Chicago and New York and all these other larger cities are also bearing the brunt. Even the UK, in Europe, they're bearing the brunt of a lot of migrant issues. When Title 42 was being lifted, I went down to the border and I looked across and through the fence, and right up against the fence, 300 families. There's families from all over the world. And with kids, and they had their blankets and everything. They were sleeping right up against the border because they weren't sure if they're going to get let in or not. And I got to tell you, it really made me feel sick when I was looking at these families of how our system is treating these people, because they're just looking for a better life for themselves. And so I really think what we need to do, I would like to see, and I know this is harsh, but see us stopped with immigrants at this point in time until we have a system. And there's people that work and live across the border, and it's just
crazy to me. It's like, why won't you have a system?
Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas are set to meet with the president of Mexico tomorrow. It comes as 8,000 migrants head towards our southern border. It is the biggest caravan so far this year, and it's growing. Griff Jenkins spoke with the activist accompanying the caravan, and he joins us now. Griff, good morning to you. What did he say to you?
Well, good morning. And his name is Luis Villagran, and he has been organizing caravans ever since I went for Fox and covered and traveled 7,000 miles through both Honduras, Guatemala, all of Mexico. This caravan's just left Tapachula, which is in the southernmost part of Mexico with the border with Guatemala. And he organized one in 2018, 2019, and several since. And he believes that migrants should have a path to the U.S., and the U.S. should do more to help migrants from countries where there is this credible fear threat. And this caravan of 8,000 may be larger because as they go through Mexico, more will gather up. Because remember, this is a pipeline full of migrants. It's not just the 8,000. We get 5, 6, 8,000 a day all across the board.
Welcome, Jay Militant. This is Shabaka Black Experience Enhanced Show, hosted by me, Seduction Dog of the Revolutionary Agenda. Welcome, brother. How you doing? We can't talk about your situation a little bit.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm a little tired. You know, I got a little bit of time to spend, so I came on up here to talk black.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Gerald State, man. I was like, he talks black to me, and that's easy for me to digest. Everybody always talking about, you know, I'm not intelligent. Well, it's not that, or I don't speak right, or I don't speak appropriately. It's not that. It's just, fuck, I like how to talk. Like, why you gotta change that? Like, and if you talk like I talk, it's easy for me to understand. You give it an actual education, a thorough education at that, and you speak black to me, shit, I'm right there, like right there. You know what I mean? And they're like, no. Yeah, exactly. We had that discussion over there. Go ahead. I gotta straighten up. I'm gonna go off camera for a second. But we had this discussion over there. Okay. Everybody, welcome Jay Militant from What's Cracking TV with Jay Militant. If you're not on it, you better get over there, sub, like, and tap in. He does all kinds of interesting little topics. He gets real live with it. It's kind of like for the people that go over to the Arena Uncensored, just kind of diverse group of people that come in and hang out. But let's talk about the whites over there for a second, because that was a situation. I'm not taking it back about any of the shit I said. I was like, I'm just gonna go be biggity black on my shit. Who gonna tell me something over here? You know. But go ahead and tell the people a little bit about what you've been going through, and now that you solved it, you kind of solved it, right?
Oh yeah, I pretty much did what I needed to do. So for those,
for 2 seconds,
for those that don't know, I'll keep it as short as possible. I want to give people like a backstory to the whole situation, so it makes all sense in case for those that wasn't around.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my channel originally was primarily information, black information. Black history, black education, black everything, right? Mm-hmm. And then so I noticed like I wasn't getting support from my people that because I would promote my shit on Facebook when I was heavy on Facebook. Okay, so I said, okay, well, let me change it up a little bit. Let me do something a little different, just a little different, not much. So that's when I opened it up and I said, okay, let me speak truth to the world. Because I'm already speaking to my people. I've been speaking to my people. So now let me speak to the world. So I opened up them doors. And through that, a lot of bullshit came with it. And I knew a lot of shit was gonna come with it. I knew that. So, me growing up around white people for a nice chunk of my life, I knew exactly how to go about things. Mm-hmm. And I knew the difference between, now follow me people, follow me. I knew the difference between a white man, a white boy, and a cracker. Once you figure that out, you'll be all right, right? So once I knew that part of it, then I said, okay, let me go ahead and do what I do. So through the course of everything, I came across some drama and whatnot with this big, ugly, powderhead looking motherfucker that was calling me all kinds of niggers, this and niggers that, and yada yada yada. So it was a big old thing up through all that, and through that, some other people got involved later on and whatnot. So I decided, like, I'm going to step away from it because I did what I need to do, and it's not going to get any further. So I got better things to do with my time. So with that, these same individuals decided that they weren't going to hop around, even though they said out their mouth, "Oh yeah, we fuck with you, Jay Millie." Now I know the ones that do because they've stuck around, but the ones that haven't, no, they didn't. So I called them on their bullshit, and I encourage every black person out there: when white folks do shit, you call them out on their bullshit. Don't let them tuck and tail and run away from the situation, and then that way they hold the narrative of what happened. So I put them on blast, and from that they got in their feelings and decided, oh well, we hear Jay Millie is over there talking shit about us, so let's go over here and see what he's saying. I didn't say anything, and you see what they're mad about. What they're mad about is the fact that they thought that I was going to be one of them black people. What they mad about is that this highly intelligent brother, this black man, didn't need to lie, didn't need to falsify anything, didn't need to sugarcoat to try to make it seem better. No, I didn't need to do none of that. I told them right what it was. My name ain't militant for no reason now. Come on now. So I let them have it. And so they decided they wanted to get in their feelings. They wanted to do a whole 2-hour live on me.
Okay, you gotta say think on that, because I didn't even see it. Because I really don't. I've been so deep in my African studies lately.
Right.
I decided to do something for myself. I'm always doing shit for everybody else. I never do nothing for myself to enhance my shit. And I wrote Gerald said, it was like, look, check it out. I just want to be a better leader, and what better way to be is to get the right education, because everybody's so fucked off with their confusion. You know what I mean? And like that night that you was giving the Christmas spiel, I was like, I sat there, was just listening, and I said, man, fuck, I'm outside of a loop, right? And I just know that, whatever Jesse's on, 90% I'm usually on that right page. But I was like, I'm not hip to certain things, so let me go educate myself so that I can have some ground to stand on, because I do want to be a good leader. I do want to be a good leader, and sisters should be able to rely on me to be able to give them some good knowledge. If I have it available to them, they should be able to get it, because I believe in the black family. I believe in black women. I believe black women making babies with black men, and, building strong black connections and shit like that. I believe in that full-heartedly. There's no deference from that. And that's always the way it's been. It's this YouTube shit. When you have somebody come out the street like I do, it looks new, but it's not. It's not. You knew me personally. Right. I was just an ass, and I was been on this for a long time, trying to get us on the right page. Except there's like several sections of black people that can never get on the same page, and it's due to personal experience. Man. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. We can't expect them to come over if their experiences with Master are different than ours. You know what I mean? Right. They've been treated well. They get access. You can't expect them to come over and say, fuck Master and his biscuits. Come on over. They ain't hearing it.
Exactly.
It's a little bit even more difficult because you got ratchet sisters in their ear and you got empowered black sisters in there, and you got the confusion of whatever they're hearing from Zaddy and the white media, and so their thoughts are all confused too. And we're looking at them like, oh man, they are some mammy shit, straight coonstress. I ain't having it.
Yeah.
I'll skip to the next.
Exactly.
I don't want to feel like that, but that's the way it is.
And let me add on to that, because within the confusion, there's a lot of things that have been taken away from our people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to all the sisters out there, all the sisters. You can be a leader. Don't let the man, I don't care if it's a white man, a black man, an Asian man, I don't give a fuck. Don't ever let a man tell you you can't be a leader. And the reason for that, before there was ever a man that was a leader, the woman, the black woman, was leading the charge. Before we know anything else in this world, we know that of a black woman to be our leader, in the same manner that we look at that black woman as our God. Because nobody would, that's the first that teaches, and that's the last that's going to be there. So within that, you are a leader. You are a leader. Don't succumb and get some. Yeah, there's times to be submissive. There's times to be submissive. But that's in your private time, when it's you and your mate and y'all doing that romantic thing together.
Yeah.
But when you out here on this platform, and what I mean by platform, I'm talking about these streets. When you out here and you speaking the message, keep speaking. Stand on your shit. Don't let no man take that away from you. Because without your power system, the man ain't got a goddamn thing. The man don't have a goddamn thing without the power of the black woman.
We want him to feel, well, you know, I'll speak on this, and I want my dude to feel like, you know, like he is everything he's meant to be, you know, because, you know, the system and the world is kind of like, you know, shit on black men all the time. And I don't want him to feel like that. However, you know, it comes to a point sometimes where even in my own life, like I just want, you know, I don't want it to be ego. I just want to be able to express myself. Because I am smart. I am smart. I was fucking starseed. I am very smart. People sleep on me all the time. But I think when I sit back in the cut, you know, everybody wants to feel empowered. They want to feel like they're doing something. But for me coming out the street, being what they would call degenerate. I was selling drugs. I was doing the most. I never thought I would want to follow Jesse down a political path, but who didn't want to be like Mike? You know what I mean? I thought it was kind of impressive. I was impressed, and then when I seen it, when I tried to do it, I figured it wasn't not that it was not meant for me. I just needed a little bit more education, and then I saw that he was doing. You know, he does all these little leadership courses and whatnot, right? And he wanted to be a better leader for our city, and everybody kind of shit on his fucking efforts. And y'all see how I get down with like if everybody's talking bad about him, I don't allow that shit. I'll stop that shit out right quick. Like you ain't, if you think you ain't heard me get mad, y'all ain't seen shit. I done got mad several times, cussed out motherfuckers, crackers, niggas, don't matter, bitches, don't give no fucks. You getting cussed out because, you know, I see him in his ways, right? And then there's another part was like, man, I wish somebody stand up for me on my shit. And then I realized I gotta do that shit too, you know, because I can stand on everything I say. If I said it, I said it, I meant it. You know what I mean? If I did it, I done it. Right. There's no going back, and I don't apologize unless you show me where the fuck I'm wrong and how I made a mistake. And then real tears, when this is the thing about Lokes, real tears come out of Lokes' eyes when they are really, truly fucking mean. They're sorry, and they're not just saying it just to shut some shit up. They really mean it. And I don't really get upset, and I apologize when I'm actually fucking wrong. I'm saw the light. You don't have to do too much convincing. You just show me. Like, yeah, and tears will actually fall out my face because it's a genuine apology. I'll take off my glasses. I'll look you straight in the eye, and I'll actually apologize. The real is your word. It means more than money. It means more than anything. So your honor is that's all you have. So when it's in question, of course, we want to make sure that that's right, because at the end of the day, we might not have no money, but our word means more than gold. You know what I mean? Our word is more than anything. So as a sister telling another sister, say, look, check it out. You ain't got to follow me just because, but for me to tell you, I want to just lead you down this right path and keep you to open your black eyes to the situation around you and stay on one particular line of thought and truth is for a motherfucking reason. We are, as a people, being forced confusion and propaganda that we don't know what's right and what's wrong. Like, I got a brother who still celebrates Christmas. And a little bit of me is like, Merry Christmas. You know what I mean? Merry Christmas, though, brother. Like, because he's my brother. We grew up in a house that celebrated Christmas from Kmart. Like, we don't Santa don't, but when he sits Kmart rat on his lap, that motherfucker's a chomo. Like, we know that. We just don't want to hear it. That's the thing. We as black folk turn our ears off to shit we ain't really wanted to hear due to conditioning and programming. And we ain't seen the big pictures all around. Like right now, there's a lot of motherfucking shit going on. And I'm over showing it with the white media because we need to know what they thinking so we can develop our own fucking plans, because they've been playing the long game with our lives.
Oh, hell yeah.
They don't acknowledge the black text. They don't acknowledge the black Holocaust. They don't acknowledge what kind of shit we're living in as black people. They don't even acknowledge foundational black Americans. Just off top, they want to dismiss reparations and act like we need studies, but they don't give studies to everybody else. Go ahead.
Hey sis, hey, check this out. Black folks don't even acknowledge the Black Holocaust.
I know.
And that's the worst part about it.
I know. And I'm like, why are we wrong for making you want to know some shit? That's a real thing. It's really happening. We still in it.
It's still going on.
Yeah,
white people were they were slaves. The Irish went through the
indentured servants.
But this is the part that they always want to leave out. Which Irish are you talking about?
Oh yeah, they found a mention black Irish too. Yeah.
Which Irish are you talking about?
They failed to mention that part. Like, what about the black Irish? Does anybody know? And where's that first source? But we told about the white European being indentured services, and they want to say it's slavery. But is it? No, you paying off a debt from England. All the motherfucking white people came out of Europe. They came over here to these 13 colonies. You know what I mean? All them came from Europe. They weren't here. They came from somewhere else. And there's first sources everywhere. You know what I mean? To really point that out. They and then with the reparations, well, it didn't happen in our lifetime. What do you mean? It's still happening. You owe reparations at the Caucasoid, whether you want to fucking believe it or not. Your people kill us. Yeah, that goes under harms. Your people benign neglect us. Yeah, that goes under harms. Yeah, you actively are a participant in whether you call it prejudice, bigoted, fucking talk, whatever you want to say. Yeah, the days of I'm white and I say so are fucking mad over, and it should be black and I'm saying so. Yeah, you owe. Indians owe. Native Americans owe. Motherfucking shit. Even other countries. Everybody owes Foundation Black Americans. And there's the thing that fucking one of the presidents of I think he's president of Guyana. He said they owe reparations because you actively, as a Caucasoid, have been benefiting off the fucking backs of black labor.
Oh yeah.
Everything you've taken You know what I mean? And they don't want to acknowledge this culture vulture shit. That right there is a prime example of a harm.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, family. That right there is a prime example of harms when you got them culturally appropriating. Oh, let me welcome Jess Paris. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Abari Ghani.
Umoja.
Barigani.
Say hi, Sister B.
Welcome. Welcome. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Don't know where she is, but we're here. Sister Bianca, how you doing, sister?
Jeez.
Black empowerment over here.
In this sanctuary, and we're here for unity. We're here for strength. We're here for empowerment. Period. So
right. And it is that way. Don't let my baby smoke no weed over there.
You don't know if he do. He going straight to sleep.
You know it.
He can't be going to sleep. He just be going to sleep over there, Jesse.
He ain't got no glasses this time.
No, I brought my lokes. I always bring my lokes.
Yeah. I was like, don't let him smoke no weed over there. Fall asleep on the couch. He need a heavy ass meal. There you go. He gonna eat greens and ribs and potato pie and whatnot. And he gonna fall asleep on the couch.
It's crack-a-lackin' Jay Millie.
What's going on, brother? Jay was telling us a little bit about what's going on in his life on the show.
Good conversation y'all was having.
Oh yeah, your shit.
It's probably because I'm watching it on the phone.
It's time for us to step into our birthright.
Thing is that we was talking about the sisters. You know, me wanting to be a better leader, to lead our sisters in the right direction. Leadership period. Talking about a general lady.
Black woman's place is in the revolution.
Yeah. You know, and there's not a lot of empowered sisters online. There's only a handful, and it could be more. You know,
we need more.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, let's shake the foundations. I'm mad empowered.
It's truly about resetting the standards.
How so, Bianca?
Resetting the standards, because if you look at what society is allowing, and if it's something that you do or don't accept, you know, being able to stand, even if you feel like you're standing alone, might start that stand for something else. You know, so we have to step into our birthrights in this upcoming year.
Yep. Exactly.
So y'all,
I 1000% agree with that.
You see the black cat? I know.
Right.
Oh, Noche. Jesse like cats. Don't let it get twisted. Jesse loves cats. Hey, I thought I heard a cat in the background too, Jay Millie. Too. Cat.
Oh no, I don't have no cat. I'm a dog person.
Me too. But Jesse like cats.
We got the whole Kwanzaa set up over here. I'll show y'all.
Yeah. Let's flash on that real quick.
Well, I mean, just on the spiritual sense, though, you know what I'm saying? Having a cat does mean a whole lot.
Yeah, I was like, the cat is only good for me if you're gonna eat the mice.
Yeah.
Cats don't like me, man. I can't even be around them. They just like, I'm like, get the fuck out here. The dog, though, I cried his fur and tell him all my secrets, and he ain't going nowhere. He ain't the bush bean dog talking about Monroe, that beautiful bean foot. Where I got that from?
What?
Bush's baked beans and the always trying to tell the secrets.
Spiritual protectors.
Yeah.
Dogs will protect Dogs are physical protectors.
Yeah.
Cats are spiritual.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The cat only good for get these mice.
Sonora.
Yeah, we glad to see you, Bianca. Really glad to see you. Let's smoke too much. We're gonna be passed on the couch.
Oh no. Will not.
He do. As soon as we get over there, man, he's way comfortable. We both get way comfortable. They only want to be up in her drinking and just like that.
Yeah. But yeah, we are gonna get ready to light the candle. The unity candle right in the middle of the Kinara. And this is my basket with my blessings from the year. And then I also have flashcards with the days of Kwanzaa on them. And so,
Brother Spaz did a live over there at the Clio Center.
Yeah. Oh man, I was going off. You know, he had the audacity to say, "Let's play something from Mama Juju." I said, "Mama Juju should cuss you out and slap you right now."
Mama Juju don't even like you.
Like, what are you talking about? You went over there?
We talking about the one that was in that. Oh God, that was in that Holly documentary. Jay.
Did you go over
there? No, I was watching it on Sabaz's Facebook Live.
Oh yeah, Shabaka Live was going live when what was going on. I see the
Yeah, I think his phone died because he was streaming the whole thing.
Yeah. Man, I saw him again walking in and out of the camera like 6 times. I was like, I'm glad I didn't go. Like, I'd probably be in the way, like,
I seen Auntie McGinn.
Fuck them. That's the thing, man. Those are what I like to consider enemy to black people. They're never really not bad. What the fuck they
celebration.
Huh?
We're gonna be playing music. I gotta get off because it's gonna get copyrighted.
All right, cool. We'll be up later. We'll tap back in. Stay tuned. All right. Don't smoke a lot of weed unless you coming back over here, right?
Yeah.
All right. Have fun. All right. Bring me some song.
Okay.
All right. Love you.
All right. Love you too.
Yeah, don't forget those.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Motherfucker hungry. It's raining like it's snowing over here.
Yeah, it's snowing like a mug. It was icy as hell on the way over here.
Yeah, it's good to see without the looks, man. So pretty. All right, hang up.
All right, peace,
love you.
Jay.
All right, cuz.
All right, I get Jesse out the stage. You see how quick I kicked him out the stage? It's ridiculous. I kicked him out the stage, like, get the fuck up out of here. No, just like, do you see how this get out of the front line black dudes? They barely let me talk. Y'all can hear it in the back. I'm like, this is how it go down. I be having some real influential thoughts back there. They don't want to let it go because you know, I didn't know when it became that show. I was like, shit. Well, why am I even here? Get on. For what? For what? So I did the RVA, and the other day the RVA took 7 hours, right? And he kept distracting me. I was like, man. And then he said some more wild shit, you know, because we don't take it off over here. Y'all don't need to see what we're talking about, you know, married spats, right? Marital spats. And I was like, God damn it, man! Now I gotta get off, like, because I don't know what I did, but he said 7 hours. I was like, I ain't got shit else to do.
Right.
I was just bringing the news because I had been so long. I was like, I ain't got shit else to do. Where I gotta be? I just gotta go back.
Cuz want that time. Cuz want that time.
Yeah, he wasn't even here. He was at home. He was just being a hater. That's what I said. I was like, why we get offline for no goddamn reason. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, you better
But
call me, woman.
I was talking to him already. I was like, damn, because I was like, well, all right, you here then. All right, now what? There's nothing happened after that. In fact, it just got worse. So I was like, oh, all right. Yeah, man.
Oh
You see
shit.
the RVA. The RVA twin is my shit. Well, actually, it's Ramel Understandings, but Ramel's incarcerated, free to land, free to land, free to land. Um, so he yeah, I'm over there. In the when I do the RVA cover a lot of shit we don't get to cover, and it's more in depth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all didn't even beep when you guys came in the back because I was looking at the other screens that I'm sharing, and I didn't even hear you guys beep when you were in the back. And I think that it, again goes with shadow banning. I know my
Oh
ears,
yeah.
so I'm like, that's another thing too. When I was on the we simulcast on other platforms. This is the thing. Like, oh, I'll tell you too, Jay. I got a plan. I got an idea that will swing your way on a messenger about a show. And because I've been doing separate things, I'm a metaphysicist, a metaphysician. I do metaphysics, right? That's
Okay.
divinity, black divinity, what I like to call it.
All
I
right.
do metaphysics, but also we talk about, well, me and Jay talk about a lot of shit that happens in in music and some clown sessions and shit like that. So I was gonna tap and talk to you about some about a program because I was like, this shit damn near right itself. So off brand fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
You need to hear it from a different perspective because shit be whack.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
We simulcast with the Arena
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncensored and
Because
platforms. And I had some troubles over there on one night. I wouldn't say I had some troubles. I would say I was over there holding it down because uh old boy got off his old platform, disappeared for hours. So I was just holding it down. And I was just I was doing my shit like welcoming guests, chopping it up, and I had some problems with some white folk in there, and then that's a problem. I didn't say I had some problems, but I was discouraged by listening to brothers and what they was talking about, and again, a lot of word salad shit I didn't understand because none of them were speaking black to me, so I had to get off. But to see
yeah.
the chat was rolling, my words are like, "This crazy, she crazy." Um, angry black shit, and it wasn't like that. But from Caucasian viewpoint, it always looked like black people are angry.
All the time.
You ain't seen angry really. You see us turned up a little bit, like 2%, but you really don't. You don't want to see black people angry because when black people are angry, to cause revolutions and revolts. Just go back in time and look at history. You don't want to see
Oh,
black people angry,
yeah.
annoyed.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird that 2%, 3% turned up. They don't really ever see us really truly angry. And even with all the shit that was going on at on your shit, I was like, the audacity of them doing. You gotta send me a link to that. Audacity of them going off on you for like 2 hours and talking about you for 2 hours is ridiculous. And nobody should have to drop a link to anybody's shit or drop a link when you're doing your own broadcast for anybody to
Right.
come and definitely be ignorant on your shit. And I was
Right.
like, got
Exactly.
to. Like I was like, he ain't got to. He don't have to. He ain't doing that. Like, no, no, no. Because you ain't gotta submit to fucking again another act of white supremacy with them.
Right.
Fuck what they talking
Exactly.
about.
And you know what? And, oh, we see. Okay, so this is how the live went. But before I say that, they did the live, right? I still win. Not only did I expose them, but I also gained subs.
Oh yeah, naturally.
So, so what they did was the main one that I was going at it with, the blue collar dude, he went live, and the other dude, Stony Tony, that popped up in the chat,
Yeah.
he went over there, jumped on the panel, and he has like all the equipment and shit. So he pulled up my live and they started to review my live. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching a little bit of it, and I'm looking at the chat, and I'm cracking the fuck up because everything that I said in my live, this is exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Man, I didn't even know. Well, we like once I got off the thing, you know, I'm usually on some other shit, and if I don't get no, you gotta like hit the messenger a couple times because it don't ring. Apparently, I don't even know when people are checking. I'm like, man, should let a motherfucker know because I feel like how I felt then. When you go, you shouldn't go just by yourself. Especially when you got black people up there that's just straight cooning and not for the benefit of your blackness, but the benefit of whiteness. You know what I mean? And they're there on their side, so you need to. So you should take, you know, your two road dogs with you.
Right.
Definitely, fucking black empowered to go up there with you just in case shit got alive. You know, we ain't got no problem putting a motherfucking cracker in this place or a bitch.
Well, you see, had I dropped the link, that would have been the worst thing for them. Because I know y'all would have hit the link too, and it would have been over after that.
It had been over like it was that one time when I was like, he's just your white, he's just your black friend. Keep it 100. You woman, man. I didn't know we was like, yeah, with that talk. Like, what do you think it is? Like, white people got it really twisted. Like, it's because you're tolerant don't mean that at the end of the day, you're not going to reside in your blackness.
Right,
at the end of the day, you can't really rely on them standing up and being for you. They could be allies to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And usually that's what I'm always telling me. Jesse always talking about. I was like, I'll give it 30 minutes before they start calling us everything but a child of God. You know what I mean? You an angry black bitch. Use this angry nigga talk. You know, just the fact that that fool could even call you a nigger, like I said, that way, and keep going on it and acting like just that whole shit with, was it what'd you say, homie talk? That
homie,
racist. Like you don't call your white friends homies. They're your pals, whatever, or your buddies, but you don't call them homies. So when you referring to that, you're referring to black folk. And then black folk is slow and they ain't catching on, but there ain't no slow shit going on over with the three of us.
Hell nah.
Ain't no slow shit going on there. Like, and homeboy said, we should just talk. In the last chat I saw, he was like, we should just talk about it within each other, like you and him. And I was like, so for what? Like in my mind, I didn't say nothing, but in my mind, I'm thinking, for what? So you can convolute the situation. And then eventually it's gonna get back to black people. Black people are gonna be like, oh man, he just wanted to poison your well of thinking. You know what I mean? I was like, no, none of that. You stay exactly the way you are. That's why I said, like, I apologize. I was like, because I'm over there live talking and shit. And I feel like, these motherfuckers come for me. I was like, you want to? All right, I'm with it. Come on. Like, I'm wrong with shutting your bitch ass shit down. Because whatever y'all are talking about ain't the same shit we talking about. And black people have been far too fucking forgiving and loving and calming and fucking soothing the fucking white fragility for too long. We have to check it. They don't like it. You know?
Yeah. Well, hey, sis, I'm sorry I hate to cut this short, but I got to jump off. I got a couple things I got to take care of.
Go ahead. Cool.
But I'll make sure I jumped up.
Yeah, let me know when you're going live again next time.
Okay, yeah, I definitely will. Well, depending on how the rest of the night goes, I might do a late nighter.
Cool. All right, then. Thanks for coming on, Jay Militant. Everybody say goodbye to Jay Militant. He'll be back.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all next time. And make sure y'all keep it black, stay black, and always represent black. And fuck what they talking about. Stand on your square.
Yeah. All right, then. Peace. All right, so let me get over here again. Back to what we were talking about. Chat. All right. Still don't know where Shabaka is. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with what I was presenting. Okay. Okay. I think he's still in the back. Yeah. Okay. He's still in the back. All right. All right. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see it. All right. Now, so this is really happening. This migrant shit. Migrant caravan, like
this caravan is largely Cubans and Haitians, countries with which we have offered TPS, temporary protective status, various times, and Hondurans, not so much there with the TPS thing. But he wants to get ultimately close to Mexico City, where Mayorkas and Blinken will feel pressure.
Yeah.
If there's migrants on the way. And they want to see the U.S. extend more opportunities for migrants to come to the U.S.
Well, I was reading that this caravan, they're holding signs that say exodus from poverty. So he's talking about credible fear threats, but that shows that a lot of these people are coming to the United States for economic reasons. And I believe that he's the same guy who told the BBC. I thought this quote was so interesting. He said, the problem is that the southern border with Guatemala is open and 800 to 1,000 people are crossing it daily. If we don't get out of Tapachula, the town will collapse. So even he, leading this group of illegal immigrants, is acknowledging that they're causing a major economic problem in southern Mexico. And he's also talking about the fact that the border between Mexico and Guatemala is wide open.
It is. And literally, there's a river, the Suchiate River separates Guatemala and Mexico there. And they literally pay like 5-10 pesos to cross on a raft. And they're there, and there's literally no Mexican immigration police there to stop them. And in the town of Tapachula, which has become this hub for migrants, they don't allow them to work. They'll set up in the streets and try and make ends meet before they ultimately make their journey north to the U.S. But here's the dirty secret, and here needs to be the focus of Mayorkas and Blinken's conversations with Mexico, and that is Mexico is a transit country. They want the migrants who all want to go to the U.S. to get jobs to just move them quickly, moving along, move quickly through. But so many have descended on Tapachula, because that's where they start, that it's become an economic drag on Tapachula itself, which is a pretty big city in southern Mexico. And so I think what you're going to see is activists like Villagran become louder and louder because they've got leverage here, because they're putting pressure on the Mexican government, which, by the way, is out of money. The INM, the Mexican immigration folks, they've run out of money. That's part of the reason why they're not helping so much. So Blinken and Mayorkas are going to lean on Mexico to try and do more, even though they're out of resources, while our border resources are stretched to points we've never seen before.
Okay, so what is your expectation for this meeting between Mayorkas, Blinken, and and the Mexican president?
Obrador.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Obrador. Well, I think, look, Obrador is outgoing. He's done after his 6 years. And under the Trump administration, we threatened very harsh economic
and they had a good
penalties.
Relationship, Obrador and Trump.
This administration has not threatened that.
Yeah.
And I think Obrador is going to ask for the U.S. to do more in the way of granting asylum to migrants like Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, right? They're all coming from countries that the U.S. has no repatriation agreements with, although we've begun.
I'll be surprised if they say yes to Haiti when they send them back after all that other shit. Like, come on now. They wouldn't even let them get food.
To send some back to Venezuela under a special agreement. But I think Obrador is going to do everything he can to keep them moving, like I said, as quickly as possible so that they don't on Mexico's economy. In the U.S., by the way, we were reporting last week, the Center for Immigration Studies put out that 3 in 5, 59% of illegal alien households are on welfare in the U.S. So Mexico doesn't want that problem with the illegal aliens in their country.
So if it's just final question here, but if illegal immigration is becoming a drag on the Mexican economy, then why doesn't Obrador just shut down the southern border between Mexico and Guatemala? It seems like such a simple solution.
Because he doesn't have the resources, and he doesn't want to do something.
He doesn't have the Border Patrol resources?
He doesn't have the resources internally to do it. And that's in fairness to Mexico to make that point. But ultimately, there's also the political part of it, which is he doesn't want to be seen as being negative towards these migrants. He wants to be the, open arms. We welcome you on your journey, not to Mexico, to the US.
Yeah, the Mexican political calculation is an important part of the story that's never discussed. So interesting to hear You know so much about it, Chris.
I've spent a lot of time.
Yeah, you certainly have.
In the first caravan, the migrants called me the El Gringo Pollero, which is basically someone that would move the caravan along. And I'll tell you, by the way, a final point, and that is Auden Cabello, Mexican independent journalist I spent a lot of time with in Eagle Pass a few weeks ago. He's interviewed a lot of the migrants on the Mexican side, and he says none of them mention credible fear. All of them mention jobs.
Well, it's a complex topic, but you cover it so well. Griff, thank you. Stay right there because we're going to talk about it a little bit. But
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our
know it in terms of
talk about the corruption,
you name it, homelessness.
real quick, because that goes inside with this too.
When they get into office, they take care of their family and their friends. That's how it works. It's like conflict of interest 101. But that's how brazen the corruption is today. In your face. They don't care about the appearances of impropriety. They're just going to do it anyway and dare you, like, what are you going to do to me?
My guest today is Alex Villanova, former sheriff of Los Angeles County. Today, he'll give us a deeper look into how corruption works in LA and what should be done to stop it.
It's billions of dollars that get poured into the pockets of the nonprofit world in the state of California. And what is the return on the investment? A bigger homeless problem. We're not fixing anything. What we're doing is maintaining a very expensive nonprofits that are very profitable. Then who are these people donating money to? The same elected officials that are awarding the contracts to the nonprofits. So those elected people, who do you think their allegiances are? To the taxpayer, to the voter, or to the machine that puts them in office? The good news is, I know that with all this doom and gloom, there is some good news.
I'm Shabaka Karami. Welcome to the California Insider. Alex, it's great to have you on. Welcome back.
Delighted to be here.
We want to talk to you about a topic that we've been told to cover a lot, and a lot of our audience want to hear about is corruption in LA. And unfortunately, corruption has become a thing and a bigger thing that when I came to this country, one of the things I really appreciated, it wasn't, the corruption existed here and there, but I don't think it was like, it's not rooted in the country. It's not in the system, deep in the system. But somehow things are changing here.
Of course they don't.
And can you tell us what's happening in LA? You've seen examples of this.
Well, I can tell you the main thing that's happening is we've created a political class, entrenched political class.
Definitely.
That is really, they're making a career out of being in an elected office with all of the benefits that entails them, which is access to power, access to resources, decision-making that can promote or kill other careers in elected office. And that is a lot of power concentrated in very few hands. And when that power doesn't change hands frequently, well, it tends to fester. It gets corrupt. And well, right now, they say sunlight is the best disinfectant. So we need to pull the curtains back. We need to let the sun in so people start realizing that our main problem is with politicians, the political class. They're the ones that have destroyed LA as we know it in terms of, you name it, homelessness. You talk about crime. You're talking about pollution. You're talking about economic opportunity, the regulatory environment, which businesses can thrive or die on the vine, as we're seeing. All of that boils down to decisions from policymakers, elected politicians who are looking out for their own personal interest, not for the average person on the street.
You created this corruption unit. Why did you create it?
Well, when I took office, the Sheriff's Department historically has always been doing corruption investigations. We do them a lot of agencies. Agencies will ask us, hey, could you investigate? We have a suspicion of our employees is engaged in criminal conduct. And we do the investigation as the third party of choice, and probably obviously the biggest one. So, and we have investigators.
I thoroughly believe that when you should audit everything, like for example, I'd be saying, new mayor got involved. We got a new mayor, right? Well, I think that he kept the old administration, but in some things, some of the old administration, I meant to say, some of these entities that we have, like they're like 5 of them, maybe 6 of them. They should be scrapped and purged all the way around. That's my opinion personally, because I've seen them fuck the city people that live here, right? And I'm like, he had hire a private auditor. not an auditor that comes with the mayor, like, because then there's all this cronyism and like leeway, like for them to fuck off and not do what it said, not implement some shit, not not follow the rules, So, and I would be like, man, if it was me in my city, you'd have X amount of days. You wouldn't have like months to pull a report. Like, nah, like there's many motherfuckers that want your position. There's a whole line outside the door. Better get to it. Like you got a few days. It shouldn't be that hard to run a fucking thumb drive and load that shit up with all your records. Why you need more time? And why is it always when the auditor comes and, like, for example, with the last mayor we had, it's a black mayor, they wanted to cite racism, but it was all white fucking um a committee that they were trying to get audited. Like, where the fuck do you get off of citing racism? Just fucking get your job done. Do this, load this thumb drive, download this shit, send me on my motherfucking way. I want at least 4 or 5 years. You should have all those records. You shouldn't even have to look for them. They should be right there on everybody's fucking computer. So just download it, give me what I asked for, send me on my way, and I'll get back to you what I think you need. You know what I mean? Because if I give you any time, you'll be deleting files and fucking shredding shit and burning stuff and just getting rid of evidence. I don't want to see that. I want to know where the money's gone, because there shouldn't be this uprise of unhoused people. There shouldn't be first of all, why is everybody always coming back to ask for money? What the fuck have you been doing with it? Let me see. I want to see everything. I want to see an itemized agenda of where you paid and how much you paid, who you talked to. I want to know everything. It can't just be how they want it, because at that point in time, again, nothing ever gets done in our city. We look to them and they corrupt.
They're extremely good at what they do. So we created a public corruption unit just to formalize what we've been doing for decades.
You have been doing that inside
the Sheriff's Department's been doing these investigations forever. And we work hand in hand with the District Attorney's Office, with the Attorney General's Office, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. We do that as, as a regular course of business. So we formalized it with a public corruption unit. They handled 24 cases when I was in office, 24. And we gave them either to the DA, the state AG, or the feds, to the Department of Justice, to decide who prosecutes or doesn't prosecute. And they make the decision about the prosecution side. That's not our job. Our job is just to investigate.
To find the evidence and then
put the case together, and they can decide, okay, we're going to prosecute. Can we prove beyond reasonable doubt? Sometimes we can prove it, but might not be beyond reasonable doubt, or whatever their criteria is. That's a prosecution decision, not an investigator decision. But the authority of the sheriff is to conduct the investigations. So the local establishment, the Board of Supervisors, took exception to that because they were the subject of one of the investigations. But nowhere does it say that the board is somehow exempt from criminal oversight when they're the subject of a criminal complaint. Of course they are going to be investigated. But they assumed that, how dare the sheriff do this? Oh my God, he's only retaliating against us. They always had this big scheme about retaliation, but it turns out the board was taking all the offensive actions against the sheriff's department. Going all the way back to 2018, when I got past the primary against McDonald, they started downloading my personnel files. I was already a retired lieutenant at the time, and I had the inspector general going through my personnel files trying to look for something. And that's illegal. That's a crime right there. So we reported these things because we're the victim. We're reporting them to the Attorney General so they can take action on this.
How did you find that out?
We did a deep dive because when we took over in December of 2018, we were looking for.
These fools want to solve.
It was exactly.
These fools want to solve their own.
We were going through emails.
They're not solving real crimes.
Because we had a suspicion about who had accessed my personnel data. Then we found out, oh, wait a minute. They've been going through the personnel data of the undersheriff. Anybody who was on my transition team, they went through all of their personnel files, which is a crime. It's a data breach. And we asked for the emails because we own the emails, the system. And we got all the emails from the Inspector General and their associates at the time. And they said, "Oh yeah, go on the weekend before he takes over. Use a external hard drive so you can download all the files."
Imagine this shit's happening in every state. There's motherfuckers just
Each
like
file is a crime.
there's no
There's
corruption.
2,400 of these, and they just went to town on this. And we're like, "Wow, this is, man, these people play dirty." And so we investigate. We invited the Attorney General's office and the FBI to assist us, and they said, "No, you have the authority. You do your investigation. We'll provide you technical assistance if needed." That was the FBI. So when we were done, we handed over to the Attorney General's office, and they just sat on it, did nothing. They're letting the clock expire on the statute of limitations.
Do you think that some of these people have, in this political climate, people have built relationships with each other, and either they are in the corruption or either they are afraid of talking? Do you think that's what has become?
The lesser players that want to get onto the big stage are afraid of saying anything because they don't want to jeopardize their chances to be on the big stage. The ones that are already on the big stage are the ones that they're not going to rat themselves out, or their compadres, so to speak. They benefit from the corruption. And I'll give you a prime example. I had a friend of mine, Latina, who wanted to run for city council in LA, and see it held by someone who was African American. And this is a district which is majority Latino. So she has somewhat of because, the identity politics in elections, this lady had some advantage. And she was told by the Democratic Party, it's not your turn, to basically stand down. So you have people picking and choosing who's in elected office. So those elected people, who do you think their allegiances are? To the taxpayer, to the voter, or to the machine that puts them in office? And that's the big threat of corruption. That's why Mitch Englander, Jose Huizar, Mark Ridley Thomas, Curran Price now, for example, and you go back to Baca, Tanaka, and all those other previous people that have been convicted of, of corruption. And it's all part of that whole machine. People get into office for the wrong reasons, and they want to stay there.
What do they get into the office for?
Well, some are idealistic. They want to go in supposedly to do the right thing, but they're too enamored about all the perks of being in public office. And all you start seeing, they start hanging out with their donors, and then the private jets to Vegas, and all the parties and all the developers showering them with money. I think that's what happened with
Huizar. He was getting poker chips.
Yeah, I mean, it's
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
That was a lot of pandering going on during elections.
Yeah.
A lot
That's
of
sad, and they're not the first.
I ain't
people.
nobody's old.
There's a long list of people.
The
people have now been indicted under the DWP scandal. Same concept as well. And how did Mike Fuhrer somehow skate while all of his subordinates keep?
It's true. You can earn up to 10.25%.
Many of them are doing very bad work.
.com. Folks, I take my endorsements very seriously. If you're looking for a solid investment,
because you got the CEO making $800,000, and they're paying kids $20 an hour to hand out water bottles and croissants, and they call that outreach.
Wow.
And that's the tragedy of this, because it in paper it sounds great, but if you look very carefully, they're not solving anything. They just provide output. Oh, we house 17,000 interim housing,
right.
21,000 interim housing. I call bogus all those numbers, because you look at all the homeless on the street. If you literally housed 21,000 on the street, you would have seen a drop of almost half within the city of LA.
Right.
No, they just shuffle them around, and the ones that go in, then other ones go out, and all they're doing is they're counting output, but they're not counting the outcome, which is for every one they house, they attract 1.5 to get down the street. So they're not improving anything, but the money keeps flowing in.
How do you
The
describe
money
it?
never stops. In fact, the pie gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
So, Alex, based on what you see, and you've dealt with some of this political machine that you mentioned, what is the root cause of this? This is a tough question, but what do you think is the root cause of this?
I think greed, old-fashioned greed, is the only way to explain it. Because if a nonprofit actually worked hard to get rid of homelessness, they get rid of themselves at the end because there's no homeless left. But the nonprofit always gets bigger and bigger, and the homeless population gets bigger and bigger. So it boils down to greed. There's a nonprofit called the Dream Center, and they're off the 101 freeway, the real tall building. The Dream Center is like 10 stories tall. It was a former hospital, I think. They took over. And that's a nonprofit, a religious-based nonprofit, and they house the homeless. They have a sober living program, you know, for drug addiction and all that stuff. And they have a 1-year immense immersion program where they get people cleaned up, free of drugs, and back up and running. And extremely successful operation. They take in entire families. That's how good this thing is. No government involvement whatsoever. Everything is by charity. So you have big names, the Dodger organization, Kershaw, the pitcher, he donates. In fact, Justin Turner, who's not the Dodgers anymore, but he's a big donor to that. But they rely on private philanthropy to fund their entire operation. And the cost to house a family for an entire year is 25% of what it costs to house them with all the public operations. 25%. That should tell you something right there. And they have an extremely high success rate where people are not circled back and dumped on the street. They actually move on with their lives and become self-sufficient, which is their goal.
Yeah, like I think that you know, our media and stuff is really just providing a fucking narrative, because there's no way if you said you were gonna help, you were gonna do something for the homeless, then why aren't there less homeless out there? Why aren't there? You know, because it's just them pacifying people. Let's move forward.
First, Denver in the spotlight today. Attorney General Jeff Sessions specifically calls out the Mile High City when discussing sanctuary cities.
He threatens to withhold federal money to jurisdictions, including right here, that do not follow immigration rules. Jackie Cray is in the studio with exactly what this means for us.
Attorney General Sessions used a specific murder case here in Denver as an example of what happens when local officers don't work with ICE. Now, many immigration attorneys and advocates argue it's unconstitutional. Well, we've heard the warning before, but Sessions says jurisdictions that don't follow these rules will lose grant money.
Valles was released from a Denver jail in late December, despite the fact that ICE had lodged a detainer for his removal. The American people are not happy with these results.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions is talking about Ever Valles, an undocumented immigrant now accused of murdering a man at a light rail station last month here in Denver. ICE had flagged Valles for possible deportation after an arrest for vehicle theft. He made bond and was released. Now, because Denver is not a sanctuary city, jails do communicate with ICE when someone is booked, but policy does not allow the jail to hold the person based on immigration status.
What do you mean Denver's not a sanctuary city? Yes, it is.
Booked, but policy does not allow the jail to hold the person based on immigration status.
Jeff Sessions seems to have forgotten that there is this document called the Constitution.
It's become a hot debate nationwide. Julie Gonzalez is a policy director for the law firm representing Jeanette Vizcarra, an undocumented immigrant here since 1997, now finding sanctuary at First Unitarian Church. She says she escaped the violence in Mexico with her family. Now she's charged with using a forged Social Security card and illegal entry. Gonzalez says ICE officials should not rely on local officers. They need to get warrants.
If we want, as a city, to prevent more cases like Jeanette Vizcarra's case, Denver has to do more. Denver should draw that bright line and say, you know what? By all means, if ICE wants to do ICE's job, ICE can do ICE's job.
Mayor Hancock seemed to agree in the past.
If being a sanctuary city means that our law enforcement officers are expected to do the work of federal immigration authorities or violate the constitutional rights of any of our people, we reject that.
Now, Mayor Hancock's office did respond today just before airtime, saying nothing has changed here in Denver. The city will always follow federal immigration laws, but it is part of a lawsuit along with 34 other cities to challenge the threat to federal funding. Now, tonight, the city of Aurora is also tackling this issue. Our Liz Gilardi is at the meeting, and she'll have a report tonight at 10.
That's lies. Like
the head of Colorado's Republican Party said
that's crazy talk. Like, how the fuck all of a sudden now we're not a fucking sanctuary city? What? No, man, that's fucking bullshit. If that was the case, we wouldn't have that many immigrants here, right? They wouldn't be coming here. So that don't make no goddamn sense at all. We are a sanctuary city. All of a sudden now we're not a sanctuary city. And you ain't called ICE out much. Nobody
by
yet.
the United States Supreme Court decision if it goes against them and Donald Trump. The open defiance of the rule of law says they will not abide by a United States Supreme Court decision if it goes against them and Donald Trump. The open defiance of the rule of law from a party that once prided itself on that is pretty striking. But Colorado GOP Chair Dave Williams has been quietly working for months to give Donald Trump a path to Colorado's Republican delegates, even if Trump is not on the ballot.
Say the Supreme Court rules that the former president's not allowed on the ballot. Will you accept that ruling from the Supreme Court, from the High Court?
Well, I'm not sure what accept means, but we're not gonna abide by it. We're gonna hold a caucus, and we'll let the national Republicans duke it out from there.
Colorado GOP says it just won't hold a primary if Trump isn't on the primary ballot. Canceling the primary would likely prompt a lawsuit. Months ago, Williams asked national Republicans to approve a caucus as a backup plan. Williams told KOA Radio today that if the Supreme Court rules against Trump, that would be election interference. Williams has warned of coming violence, a civil war, if so-called election rigging continues. Colorado's Supreme Court justices have been swamped by violent threats since they ruled against Trump this week.
10 buses arrived in Denver today with 341 migrants.
So the Republicans ain't gonna have their way. So they threaten our judicial system and do this fear-mongering shit about civil war and I don't know what else over Trump. I also say this, they just took Christie off of one ballot because he didn't get the signatures. I mean, she's getting crucial. But what kind of they're not even leaving it really for the people to really have a say in anything. So this election is really looking like exactly what we've been saying, a selection, which is kind of shitty.
Migrants inside.
We're in Denver, kind of like going through it really fast. We're going into Denver with them busing all these people. This one particular thing comes from Black conservative perspective. This one dude, I don't really dig old boy. Personally, I think he a coon, and I don't like him. So, but I did hear what he was saying. I was like, sound like my shit. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. I don't know what's happening right there, but all right. All right, let's get back to it.
The city says Denver is on track for receiving 100 migrant buses just this month.
One of the main spots they're landing is Zuni and Spear, and nearby residents are complaining about a growing mess. Fox 31's Gabby Easterwood joining us with their concerns. Gabby?
Yeah, with more migrants coming in, residents' concerns are definitely growing. One of those concerns, though, being the trash created by this many people in one spot. Any given day, you can find Bo Blackford working on his pride and joy.
A beautiful stock Honda.
A few doors down from Bo is Ralph Williams, who's lived on this block for 2 decades.
I'm amazed that it's there. I mean, like, it's a total WTF moment.
These tents and hundreds of migrants nearing both of their doorsteps.
I just keep seeing more buses show up and more and more. And it stresses me out. And if the tents look like they're coming up here, I don't want to live there.
Originally, the city was picking up trash from the encampment 3 times a week. Now it's 5, but residents say that's still not cutting it.
The more people that show up, the it might even need to be daily.
At least 2 times a day. I mean, it's a mess. It's overflowing everywhere.
The trash highlighting the major issues with the migrant numbers. The city says they're working diligently to get these people into housing, but that presents its own issues because many aren't authorized to work. And if they can't work, there's only so much to go around.
I'm worried about what it's going to be when they're all desperate and there's not enough to go around.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about another Democrat city that is facing the consequences of their vote, which was to vote Democrat, to vote for Joe Biden, to vote against Orange Man, and that is Denver, Colorado, a county that voted 80% for Democrats, okay, in the 2020 election, okay, and now they're facing the consequences of their vote because illegal immigrants are being bused to their city, and now they're freaking out because there are problems and issues like trash and things of that nature that are piling up in a city that is already experiencing a homelessness crisis, okay? Denver has the 10th highest amount of homeless people in this country. And this problem is only going to make it worse, okay? But hey, this is what they signed up for. This is what they wanted because, again, Orange Man bad, right? They voted for Joe Biden. They're very liberal, and they're a sanctuary city. So therefore, they have to take care of the illegals, and they're getting exactly what they voted for, just like New York and Chicago. And just like New York,
It's now that we don't want to hear that shit, it's just like nowhere when everybody chose to vote for Biden. Nowhere did anybody say, "Oh, we're just gonna leave the border open and just let everybody and their mama up in here." Because I'm pretty sure if that was known, nobody would have voted for his ass.
Okay, Chicago, the residents here are complaining about what they voted for. Again, typical liberalism, right? So, without further ado, let's get into it.
First, now in Denver, in less than 24 hours, 16 buses packed with migrants arrived in Denver. The city of Denver confirms 9 bus loads arrived last night, 7 this morning from Texas. Overall,
First of all, that shit would never have happened. Like for us, they would have never let us do that ever at all. And trust me, I was outside living in a encampment for 5 motherfucking years, all over this motherfucking city. So I'm telling you now, they would have never allowed that.
That Greg Abbott, right, has redirected some of those buses from Chicago because Chicago woke Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's impounding the buses, right? So he's punishing the bus companies that are shipping the illegals to Chicago. So he's probably shipping less illegals by bus to Chicago. He's actually now shipping them by plane to Chicago to try to get around it. Probably bringing some of the buses to Denver, okay, which again is also a sanctuary city, just like Chicago.
there are about 3,800 migrants right now in shelters in the metro area. This comes as it is expected more than 10,000 migrants crossed the southern border into the United States in each of the last 3 days. Your reporter, Brian Sherrod, is live in Denver right now.
That's how you bring your kid over.
Let's go to him. Brian, you met with many of the migrants today who are unsure what to do next.
And Alan, the city of Denver tells me at least 340 migrants have been dropped off here since last night. And many of them don't even know where they are. They're unfamiliar with this area.
Now, I'm not sure exactly which of these migrants would choose to come to a place like Denver. Right now, I've been to Denver. I think Denver is a cool city, but I'm not sure if that's the place I would pick if I was here illegally, right? Out of all the cities to go to, I probably wouldn't pick Denver. Okay. I would be trying my best to get to, I don't know, like Miami or something, right? Somewhere in Florida if I was an illegal immigrant. But, hey, I'm pretty sure that's not a choice. Okay. I think that you got to go to a sanctuary city. Okay. Denver, Chicago, New York, LA, San Francisco. Okay. Those are probably the choices. So they probably have no idea where they're at, and they're probably very disappointed, right? When they got out the bus, they're like, what the hell is this?
You don't know how to read? I mean, there's signs everywhere.
them being in the area of Zunai and Spear, many people tell us, including one woman who works there, that it's just making it difficult for her to work in the area right now. This has become ground zero for migrants in Denver, many struggling for food and money, even asking our crews for help while we were there. All the migrants we spoke with didn't speak English, but through translator, we found out they are originally from Venezuela, Colombia, and Guatemala.
None of them speak English. None of them speak English at all. Amazing. I'm telling you, man, with the way that things are going in this country, in the world, you better learn Spanish and you better learn Mandarin, right? You need one or the other, okay? I'll just keep it at 100. If you want to keep up, right, Mandarin or Spanish.
I don't even know
okay?
why we
I'm
have
so
to
serious.
conform.
I'm so serious.
I don't
Rena, who works at the Shell gas station at Spear in Zunai, tells us she tried to help but didn't get a good response.
They speak bad to me. I'm the only one who speaks Spanish. I try to help them and try to explain the rules, but they don't like it. Too many people, they are so bad with me and with my boss.
3,800 migrants are currently staying in 7 shelters, specifically for migrants across the city, where resources are dwindling.
We can run out of room. We can run out of resources. We're already limited as is, and it's just straining an already strained system even further.
Look at this guy. Now, who do you think he voted for? Right? Who do you think this guy voted for? I think this guy voted for Joe Biden. Right? He looks woke. He looks liberal. Okay. And here's the issue. He's talking about how much it's straining their resources. Why were people not sympathetic to these arguments when the illegal immigration crisis was just in Texas? That's what really blows my mind about this whole situation. These liberals want so much sympathy. They want people to feel bad for them when they did not feel bad for Texas.
Oh no, everybody felt bad for Texas. What we really felt bad was how Texas did the Haitians. You hear me? And furthermore, like, that's not on us what's going on in Texas. That has to do with whether or not they were actually going to close some shit down. They were going to stop it. But it's just not always on Texas. It's like, look, in order to quit that shit, you got to close it off through other countries too. The other countries are just letting them walk on through. Like, close it off everywhere. Mexico, like, between Mexico and the Mexicans coming over from Mexico is like fewer far between than the ones coming from other countries right now. And if, like I said, if they're going to let Haiti in now, that's real hypocritical because they're sending them by planes earlier in this year. So yeah, no, like nobody has sympathy for fucking Texas. Come on now, of course we would. And with also too, we did see how everybody was fucking Haiti
when they were experiencing a problem, right? When Texas was taking on all of this by themselves, specifically in these border towns. Oh, well, you're racist, right? If you claim that.
No, actually, I think we were expecting the border czar, which is Kamala, to go down there and do some shit. And so we all sat back and waited. And we talked about all this protesting shit going on. Black people decided we weren't going to protest for anything right now. Because a lot of good that was going on. A lot of good that was going to do. So we decided to focus on some other shit. As far as, of course, everybody worries about Texas. Texas is taking a brunt of that shit. However, it falls back on, didn't it fall back on the fucking border czar and the president to do something about this shit? And that's when shit started to get real, because the governor was like, nah, we're going to do it this way. Okay, you don't want to take seriously.
Illegals take up resources, right? And you're racist if you claim that they're not a net positive for society, right? Oh, you're racist if you want to close the border, right? Now, all of a sudden, again, the illegals are in their cities. Doesn't matter which city it is, right? Chicago, New York, doesn't matter which one. Does not matter which one. Every single last one of these cities is now saying the same thing. Well, resources are scarce, right? They're taking up our resources. Again, why was there no sympathy of these people being here and they're not having a way to support themselves economically?
I think we did have sympathy.
And this is something that is going to get very bad very quickly.
Motherfuckers just coming over here.
With the shelters reaching capacity, The city is working to find migrants jobs and housing. They tell us they are doing whatever they can to keep everyone off the streets, especially children.
So we recognize everything is much more difficult with a child. That's why we've given families much.
That's why they put that old slip in that okie doke, man. They were supposed to build a hotel just for the families and shit, for the homeless families here. But we knew that was capped. They slipped that in, try to fucking make us eat it so they could house the families, i.e. families of these migrants.
They are making it harder for her every day.
We have to take the stick to clean the window because they still every night.
The city tells me that more busloads of migrants could make their way here over Christmas weekend, but right now they don't have the answers of how many and when. But when that time comes, they could be opening up an 8th shelter. I'm Brian Sherrod covering Colorado First.
They didn't make all these
Consider how much these liberals complain. I hope all of them will vote for Trump right in 2024. Okay, I hope all of them vote for Trump, right? As much as they when it comes to securing our
visual. You know, you're not up on shit. You can't vote for Trump. He ain't on the ballot. He ain't gonna be on the ballot. And that's Colorado's, Colorado thing. Will other cities follow? Shit, man, they kicking motherfuckers off left and right. They won't even let people debate. So, let's see. Let's go with this.
The head of Colorado's Republican Party says they will not abide by a United States Supreme Court decision if it goes against them and Donald Trump. The open defiance of the rule of law from a party that once prided itself on that is pretty striking. But Colorado GOP Chair Dave Williams has been quietly working for months to give Donald Trump a path to Colorado's Republican delegates, even if Trump is not on the ballot.
Say the Supreme Court rules that the former president's not allowed on the ballot. Will you accept that ruling from the Supreme Court, from the High Court?
Well, I'm not sure what accept means, but we're not gonna.
I think I read through that one. How do you not know what accept means? Let's see. Go with that one. Okay. Now this is another one.
So Chicago is
another one. Okay. So I don't like this dude. And I wrote him a seasoned fucking little comment. I don't like this dude at all. This dude's been talking about Denver and Chicago, and when he talks about Denver and the homeless, the unhoused neighbor crisis, he's got shit all fucked up. So we're gonna see what he's talking about with Chicago. But either way, anything that comes out this cracker's mouth is not even fucking remotely fucking suitable for us. But we need to know what people are saying out there, and he's one of them that this is the narrative that motherfuckers are following. You know what I mean? Just see what he's saying, because they're talking. They always have something to say about Denver, and I'm always like, man, can Denver not be in the news? But and we're like in Chicago, I'm like, damn, can we get a break? But we always got to hear what these white people say, because these white people are the ones that they give the surveys to and they talk to. They never really talk to black people, so it's capped when they do, because we don't see those surveys. We don't get to answer no questions.
Is obstructing the buses that the southern border states are sending with illegal immigrants into Chicago, even though Chicago is a sanctuary city and bring us everybody that you can, until they realize, oh, there's such a thing as a budget and we're in what's known as a deficit. And now we can't handle any more people. So we're going to start impounding those buses. We're going to start fining and maybe possibly arresting the bus drivers. We're going to impound the buses. And this is literally what Chicago is doing. It's not very sanctuary state, like, is it? It's just, that's not a sanctuary city thing to be doing. No. Meanwhile, Texas begins flying migrants from the United States-Mexico border, southern border, to Chicago with first plane carrying 120 people. Yeah. So Greg Abbott's like, all right, you won't take our buses. We're going to fly them in. Let's get into this. Here we go.
Greg Abbott said, was this retaliation?
The first plane load landed Tuesday. Recording this for you on a Thursday. This is just happening. So Texas begins flying the migrants in. The first flight of migrants from the Texas border arrived on Tuesday in Chicago on Tuesday. And this is what Greg Abbott had to say. I love Greg Abbott. I wish he was the governor of my state. But then everything would just be all mixed up. Could you imagine Greg Abbott dealing with the blue-haired freaks that I have to deal with here? Just be ridiculous, right? Okay, you guys can watch this video. Sanctuary City, Chicago started obstructing and targeting our busing mission. That's what Greg Abbott is saying. Texas will now expand our operation to include flights to Chicago. Until Biden steps up to secure the border, we will continue to provide overwhelmed Texas border towns with much needed relief. That's what you got going on. It's just insane, right? That this is where we sit. We've got governors just trying to provide relief, and then everybody in the blue states going, this is political theater. This doesn't really help out the crisis at all. Yeah, well, neither does a wide open border, does it? All right, let's watch a real video here.
It is Governor Greg Abbott's latest move in the battle over security at the southern border. The first flight has already landed in Chicago. Candace Sweat has reaction and why the Windy City was Texas's first target.
More than 120 migrants stepped onto a plane in El Paso, headed for Chicago.
I already gave you a sneak peek of this.
Governor Greg Abbott started sending
Remember that?
buses with migrant passengers from Texas to other Democratic-led cities like Philadelphia, New York City, and Denver. Tuesday's flight to Chicago was the first time Abbott transported migrants by air. The move comes after Chicago officials began cracking down on migrant buses for allegedly violating ordinances. Following the plane's departure, Governor Greg Abbott released a statement that reads in part, Sanctuary City, Chicago started obstructing and targeting our busing mission. Texas will now expand our operation to include flights to Chicago. Faisal Al-Jabari is a spokesperson for Raices, a Texas-based nonprofit that provides legal and social services for migrants. He says this is nothing more than political theater.
The buses, the planes, the buoys, the barbed wires, they don't do anything to slow down migration at the end of the day. But these political stunts, what they're doing is they're causing a devastating blow.
Since landing at O'Hare,
I'm watching it with
to who? To who? The blow is coming to the southern states that have to take the first wave of these folks coming through. Where's this perceived blow? Oh, it's just a big blow. It's like you can't have a wide open border and not expect there to be, blowback on everybody, because Texas has got to pay for these planes. Texas has got to pay for these buses, and they're already loaded up. So they've been loaded up for years on folks that, come to the country and need resources. And now Chicago's, I don't really know what to do. All right, find those bus drivers, impound those buses. They violated something, right? I mean,
Chicago City officials began working to find space in its shelter system.
What it appears is that there is a purposeful lack of coordination in order to, again, catch certain politicians flat-footed and to try and make a statement out of that.
In November, Chicago implemented a bus safety ordinance to ensure orderly intake of new arrivals. Since the start of his operation, Abbott has bused some 80,000 migrants to cities outside of Texas. Candace Sweat, NBC5.
Does anybody find it just absolutely mind-blowing, but then again not, that Let's Go Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago, is like, hey, you guys are violating, this ordinance that we have about you just bringing in people willy-nilly across the board, from the border, and then busing them to us here in Chicago. You can't do that. It's against our ordinance. And it's like, yeah, but just letting people across the southern border is also illegal on the federal level, but we're doing that. So, it's just this total duality. It's like, you gotta be following our rules, even though nobody's following any rules down at the southern border. Yeah, it's staggering to me that this is where we sit. Everybody's out for themselves, right? And if there was no issue with the southern border, if there was an orderly way for folks to immigrate to the United States like there used to be, like there used to be. If there was an orderly way of doing that was enforced, then Greg Abbott wouldn't be flying people willy-nilly or putting them on buses and, doing all this kind of stuff. There would be no need to do that. We'd already have a system in place that's being enforced, but we don't have that. So this whole concept of, it's political theater, to me, it's like, no, this is the action and this is the reaction. This is what happens when you try and just jam a whole bunch of illegal immigrants into the country without a system in place, because the current administration does not have a system in place. So Texas began flying migrants from the U.S. Customs border, U.S.-Mexico border to Chicago on Tuesday, a week after the city took a tougher stance on the buses the Republican Governor Greg Abbott has been sending north since last year. Chicago's in a little bit of a pickle. Chicago's in a little bit of a bind. New York City, little bit of a pickle. They got shenanigans going on there. They've got tomfoolery. There's no...
This dude, this motherfucker right here. Oh my God.
How long have we been talking about this happening? You can only bring in so many illegal immigrants, and then literally the inn is full. There's no more room here. And by that, the inn is full, I mean, the budget, you don't have the budget, $1 billion budget for illegal immigrants wasn't necessarily on the docket for this year. And you've got all the budgets are going the wrong direction, right? They go in the wrong direction. You do not have money coming in surplus. You've got the opposite, deficit. Somebody made the comment on one of the videos, and they were saying, Sean, you know what? The reference News for Reasonable People. The folks that need to hear this may not know what the word deficit means. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, because just keep spending. It'll work out. It'll be fine. I mean, send us the immigrants, and we'll just work it out. We'll figure it out, until we don't. And oh, hey, by the way, your buses are illegal coming to our city. The first flight of 120 migrants arrived Tuesday afternoon, according to NBC Chicago. The governor directed state officials to begin busing migrants to Democrat-led cities starting in April of 2022. Man, it's going to be a year in April he's been doing that. And, DeSantis has been doing the same thing. Arizona, same thing. All right, if you're coming in, we got to move you through to other parts of the country, because we are full here. Southern states have, taken the massive brunt of this up front when there's just zero protocol. It's, come on in. It'll be good. We'll work this out. Over 80,000 migrants have since been relocated through the effort as part of the governor's multi-pronged border security mission known as Operation Lone Star, including 23,000 to Chicago. These cities don't have the ability to take care of their own, let alone 23,000 new folks that don't necessarily speak the language, are not generating any
fast forward ahead of time.
Income. We don't know. And President Biden's press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, claims that they're taking the southern border seriously. How can you, when you've got record numbers on a daily basis coming through? What does seriously mean to you?
She never showed up.
How does that get worked out? Which part of record-setting numbers coming across on a daily basis indicates that you're serious about the southern border having some kind of containment? You're not serious at all. It's just, woo.
It could have been handled a long time ago, and it wasn't. She was supposed to be the border czar. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Didn't wasn't that her job? That's the one thing that she was supposed to do. You know what I mean? She didn't do it. Let me see. Oh shit. Let's take care of this real fast. Let's see. I'm gonna do one more, family, and then I gotta jump off because I'm approaching my time limit that I set up. So I don't know where Shabaka went. I hope he's all right. And so I'm gonna do one more, and this is kind of a shout to Lisa Cabrera. It's kind of important. And let's do one more.
year or so tried to wipe out all about Florida and how Florida has, at least for the last year or so, tried to wipe out all of Black history and completely write everything all over again. And oh, slavery wasn't bad because you got a skill out of it. Okay, then why don't we put your white ass in slavery and you can get a skill out of it? And let's see how good you think it is. Okay, since it's such a good thing, then maybe you shouldn't mind being a slave.
Right.
So, everybody, the schools have all but wiped out of slavery. And I did see the Prager kids for Black history, and Prager completely writes a fairy tale because what I saw of it, that is not our history.
Right.
All that man did was rewrite a fairy tale that never happened. So if that's the kind of stuff they're going to do, then your kids don't need to be in their schools at all. They are a people that cannot deal with the reality of all of the evil that have been done to us in this country, not only to our forefathers, but all the atrocities that are happening even to this present day. It has never, ever ended. And that's why in their minds they think reparations is about slavery. Oh no, it's all of the stuff that happened long after chattel slavery was over. Okay, and we know you hide the slavery now behind bars. Slavery is now jail. That's one thing y'all don't do. You never stop doing stuff. You just rename it, repackage it, and then call it something different, but it's actually the same thing. That's probably the biggest mind trick that have been played on all of us, but it has not fooled all of us over the years. Let's be real. Many of us know we are being sold a load of BS up in here. One thing we know, they never change. That's one thing you can always count on. These folks never, ever change. Okay. So let's talk about it. With all the stuff going on in Florida, we know Ron DeSantis, the only history he has openly attacked is Black history. All of the other history down there for Latinos, for Asians, and for everyone else, he has nothing to say, and it's so obvious. They know we are the only one that know their true history and their true role in slavery and their true role in what they do even to this very day. So, yeah, the aggression is always going to be towards us. So, let's get into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the churches, the Black churches in Florida, they are now stepping in to teach Black history where schools are falling off. Now, it is not wrong for them to do this because I saw the 501(c). Even with that, they can do Black history. They can. They're not that tied into the public school system. Now, if they were, that would be a different story. But as churches, they're not teaching it on school grounds, so there's really not much they can do. It's like if you teach it at home to your children, they can't come bursting in your house and stop you from teaching it. So let's go. All right. So this year, Florida has been making headlines for banning AP African American history courses and teaching how Black people benefited from slavery. But Black churches are stepping in to fill the gap. We will teach our own history, said Tony F. Drayton of St. James Church. He's the lead pastor. This isn't a first for the churches either. Historians said in the past, Black churches have been active members in the fight for civil rights. And today, hundreds of Black churches have taken up the mantle to ensure that our history is not erased. A church coalition called Faith in Florida, who advocates on behalf of social justice, create an online toolkit which includes books, documentaries, and videos related to Black history. When you go to Faith in Florida, and I will show you that website in a moment, visitors are greeted with a message because Black history is American history. Drayton, who was one of the toolkit developers, we have such a captive audience. From the pulpit, we have to be as woke as possible, he continued. I'm going to use the word intentionally. During NPR's Morning Edition, education reporter Danielle Pryor explained how the toolkit is not a curriculum, but a guide with recommended books, documentaries to watch, and articles to read. It covers the history of the transatlantic slave trade through the civil rights movement up into the killing of George Floyd. Well, the church is going to always be an educational institution, period, chimed in Pastor Sharon Riley. We teach people how to live their lives, how to raise their families, how to plan their future. We teach. That's what we do. According to the Hill and other states, have also taken interest in the resources with groups from Pennsylvania to California. So it looks like other Black churches in even different states are also interested in this website. Rhonda Thomas, executive director, says that once this toolkit went out, we also had churches that are led by white faith leaders and Muslim registered to teach Black history. So, what stands out is that these states are just as concerned because many times they know that whatever takes place in Florida will eventually go and hit other states. They are, because I saw Alabama and other states in the South, red states, these are all red states, that are really parroting everything that they see in Florida. All right. So these efforts are also extending beyond the parish and public school systems. Other organizations and individuals are joining the fight to ensure that the next generation learns the truth about our history. All right, so let me go to the website and I will put that up on the screen. Just give me 1 second. All right, here's the website. Okay. I think this is really good because, hey, you may just individually might want to go to this website for the resources, especially if you are teaching your children at home. All right, so
If I trust the Black church teaches anything.
all right, here's the
And they,
website.
like,
Let me
guilty.
put the link in the chat. You, especially if you have kids and grandkids, you may want this.
I'm liking the color scheme though.
All right. All right, so they said, let me close. All right, so this is their welcome page. Africa to America. Oh, okay. So they got narratives here of Sojourner Truth. They got Frederick Douglass, Neil Irvin, painter. All right. Civil War. Okay, yeah, they got a lot of books that I see listed here that they recommend. Lynching and Jim Crow South. Race, Racism, and Whiteness. Black Faith as Resistance. Criminal Injustice System. Yeah, well, they got that part right. Yeah, it looks interesting. Black History is American History. All right. Black Women in Leadership. Children Resources. And this is the toolkit they were talking about in the article. And museums and libraries. Okay.
Wow, somebody decided to put something kind of comprehensive together.
Okay, so you can click on these. The National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Hotel. Oh, okay. So it takes you to other what they would consider Black historical sites. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I mean, it's not a bad thing they're doing. I think it's good that they're at least making an effort because of all the stuff that's going on down in Florida. You know, I think it's, it's better than what we have seen from the DeSantis administration, because they are hell bent on destroying all of Black history down there in Florida. Florida of all places, right? Florida, the place where babies were fed to alligators. That's the place that think they can get rid of our history.
Right.
What a joke.
Right.
What a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So, y'all, I was not going to keep you long. I just wanted to go over this real briefly with you and show you that at least down there in Florida, all hope is not lost. There is at least, the church down
It's
there
the
that's
same
trying
place
to
where
keep
the NAACP
our
was
history alive, despite the
Black
fact the climate is so bad down there. And, they're firing a bunch of teachers that are even attempting to teach any part of Black history. I mean, I have seen so many articles of teachers getting fired, or they're firing all of the DEI employees at colleges. They're just doing away with all the diversity positions that are down there. And I feel sorry for
Can't really-
anybody that went to
Yeah,
college
nobody
and
brings up
majored
during the fucking
in
race
African American
Why they
history,
so racist
because
there?
you may not be able to get a job down in Florida. So, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I did not intend to make this very long.
No worries. We can go ahead and end that right there too. And we'll pick you back up here shortly in another, probably tomorrow sometime. We'll pick it back up probably tomorrow. I want to get off the thing because my heart's starting to hurt. And yes, yep, thank you, twin. Heart's starting to hurt, and temperature dropping crazy over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off. This has been an interesting episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Minus Shabaka. Hopefully he'll get in touch with us. And I ran it as best I could. I didn't say none of Shabaka's hotline, so I can't do it that well. I forget. But nonetheless, thank you for watching Shabaka's Black Experience and Ants, hosted by me, Seduction Dog, Hey Lady Che of the Revolutionary Agenda and Frontline Black News. And we're simulcasting on the Arena Uncensored. And we're thankful for the opportunity to simulcast. I thought it'd keep it at a decent amount of time. Tomorrow, another episode of something will come on. Hopefully we'll have Shabaka with us. Mostly it'll be the RVA. So some stuff I didn't cover. It should be good. Thank you guys for all participating. Twin, thank you, Twin. He says great episode. You Twin, Pyramid, Jesse, thank you for popping in. Who else is in here? Jay Militant, thank you for popping on. Deacon, thank you for coming in or hopping on the chat. And everybody else who watched the show, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow for an episode, probably later on late afternoon of the Revolutionary Agenda. We'll probably have again our usual folk on here, which would be Jesse, hopefully Shabaka. It is snowing out here, so we will see, and probably get something good together. I want to go right now though, because my heart hurts, and I gotta get ready for tomorrow. It's still early, so try to lay down because like I said, I'm in active heart failure, so this shit's just building up. Yes, thank you, Twin. Appreciate you. So go ahead and if you didn't Jesus Christ, if you didn't subscribe over there to What's Cracking TV with Jay Militant, you should do that. It's a little fun broadcast. Thank you and appreciate everybody. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for stopping by. Stay black, stay dangerous. Stay favored. And excuse me. Gotta go. Merry Kwanzaa, and today is Umoja, which is unity. So we're seeing you guys tomorrow. It's another episode, and tomorrow's a different 7-day principle. So we'll bring you that too. Thank you. Everybody have a great evening. Sleep well, and don't let nobody knock you off. Take care of everybody. See you soon. Peace.